6:04, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing, starting you off at 70 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge, as McCade Cowan said. Yeah, a warm start to the morning, to be sure. Yes, we are on the lookout for some nasty weather throughout the day. And I believe unsettled pattern is the term being used right now. Anyway, we got a big show lined up for you today. Senator Bill Cassidy is going to be on the hotline. State Representative Kim Carver. Actually, Kim Carver already got in on the hotline. We got Pennington Biomedical Research in. We got Lake Urgicare in. Former ambassador to the Vatican, Francis Rooney, going to join us about a half an hour from right now. Patrick Gremion, host of the Patty G Show. We're going to talk Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3. All that. And some folks from Southern University got an event coming up this weekend. We'll have them in before it's all said and done as well. But we can't get started on anything until we hit up top stories and trending.
Number 5.
As graduation season kicks off at LSU, students are flocking to campus landmarks for their perfect photo. One popular spot would be near Mike the Tiger's habitat. That one comes with a warning. Ginger Gutner from the vet school is asking that you not pop champagne bottles nor use confetti, as the trash can actually end up inside Mike's habitat. By the way, that just doesn't go for Mike's habitat. The shots from on top of the ramp at the PMAC, looking back with Tiger Stadium behind you, same rule applies with the confetti because it gets up in the wind.
Number 4.
Governor Jeff Landry signed an executive order yesterday that requests the federal government to ban soda and candy purchases from Louisiana's food stamp program. The governor cites other states that have made similar requests in his order.
Number 3.
East Baton Rouge Parish Mayor President Sid Edwards kicked off his Pray for the Parish initiative yesterday morning. The initiative is meant to encourage unity and hope through the Christian faith, Edwards said at the River Center Ballroom. Several faith leaders marked the occasion, which, of course, coincided with the National Day of Prayer.
Number 2.
Baton Rouge police body cam footage of a shooting that left one person dead at a Glendale Avenue motel shows 2 officers responding to a domestic dispute call, approaching a car before opening fire after the car's occupant lifted up a rifle. The video was released yesterday. Kevin Vallon, 34 years old, was killed in the April 20th shooting at the Super 6 Inn and Suites.
Number 1.
Tomorrow is election day. If you're in St. George, you've got city council runoff races that are going to be on your ballot. If you're anywhere within East Baton Rouge Parish, you're going to have the 19 JDC's the district attorney's office millage on your ballot as well. So while it's the first Saturday in May, and yeah, we're not thinking about elections right now, there's a pretty important one coming up tomorrow.
Well, what's trending is Mike Waltz is leaving his post as National Security Advisor to be the new U.S. Ambassador to the UN.
Did he announce that, or did you just pick it up in a text thread?
Come on.
So, of course, Mike Waltz, the one that had the reporter looped in on the Signal app, and that's the dumbest reporter ever. I still don't understand how, if you're privy to a secret conversation, your want to make Donald Trump look bad is so great that you get rid of that source of access. You're privy to a top secret classified conversation.
Yeah, you are.
You're a fly on the wall. And you decide, you know what? As great of a source of information as this could be for as long as it rolls, I think I'm going to blow it up because I want to make Trump look stupid. I'm not minimizing Waltz's ignorance in this, Waltz's ineptitude in this, but man, speaking as someone who from time to time has to rely on inside information and sources, and it would kill to be a fly on the wall. Would kill to be able to, yeah. But you know what? It's more important to make Donald Trump look stupid than it is to be able to get top-notch information out to your readership.
Right. That's what we're seeing here, Brian. Hey, China said it is evaluating initiating trade negotiations with the U.S. potentially paving the way for the world's two largest economies to start talks to resolve the recent trade war.
I'm reading more and more stories about how the tariffs are hurting them more than they're hurting us.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
we give.
So
Let's talk.
maybe
Yeah.
it's working. I don't know. I know we're not allowed to say we don't know on things. I know we have to have an immediate take on everything.
Of course.
Right? You have to be 100% firm in your convictions on everything under the sun.
Yep.
From jump.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to say, let's see this play out.
Right.
Yeah, but that's where I'm at right now. Let's see this play out.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, experts are warning that the most active volcano in the Pacific Northwest, the Axel Seamount, could erupt, quote, any day now. What's going on, man?
And the last time this thing erupted, what was it? We had the floor of the sea around it. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And this thing's like a mile wide.
Right.
And would cause ridiculous damage.
Man, between all the earthquakes and everything else we're seeing, this doesn't even surprise me.
Oh, the Earth is fighting back. Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
yeah. I'm sure we'll have more on this. I'm gonna do some.
It erupted in. Okay, here we go. 2015, triggering roughly 8,000 earthquakes, producing 400-foot thick lava flows, and causing the bottom of the ocean to sink nearly 8 feet. That's not something you see every day.
No, and let's see, where's it at? Let's see, off of the Oregon coast.
Off of Oregon's coast, yeah.
Oof. Oh man, I guess one thing here is too. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Any day now. Any day now. It's a scare tactic until it's not, right?
Exactly.
It's one of those. Is that a threat or a promise? The top stories and trending brought to you every day by flybtr.com. The Baton Rouge Metro Airport brings you top stories and trending. If you hit up flybtr.com, that is their home base online. You can get all your flight info. You can get your parking and transportation info as well. This is a big part of it for me. When I talk about when I want to go somewhere, if I'm flying, I like to factor the parking and transportation into the whole equation. I like to factor in putting in the address of the airport into my iPhone there to see how long it takes to get to the airport versus how long it takes to get down I-10 to go down to New Orleans. And then you add in the cost of the parking and then just the general hassle. And the idea that either A, I can bum a ride off somebody, which you can't do in New Orleans, or I can Uber to the dadgum airport rather than paying for parking. Get your flight info, get your parking info, get your transportation, your passenger service, everything that you would need when you are traveling. Flybtr.com. Don't forget the direct flight daily to Washington, D.C. Flybtr.com. Oh. Full box score. .616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. LSU softball on the road last night. Softball games don't usually run 3 hours. This one did. 3 hours and 7 minutes to be exact. 21 runs scored, 21 bases on balls, 25 left on base over the course of the night between LSU and Arkansas. This was about the ugliest college sporting event I've ever been privy to. LSU was at Arkansas last night, and they'll be back there tonight again. They gave it up a 7 spot in the first inning, and it wasn't over. Like, they gave up 7 runs in the first inning and managed to start squeaking their way back into it. It was 7-0 after 1. It was 8-2 after 2. It was 8-5 after 3. And then the Tigers stayed within 3 runs for most of the rest of the game until they got to the 5th. And they put up 3 in the top of the 5th to bring it to within 1. And then Arkansas remedied that by putting 3 of their own back on the board. 12-9, your final score there. It was just nothing about this game was pretty. And I kind of feel like that plays in LSU's favor. Oh, by the way, you had a perfect opportunity for a top of the 7th inning rally, top of the 6th inning rally. And due to a substitution error, LSU ended up with an extra out, or having a batter called out after 1 strike. It was just give me one quick second here. I'm trying my best to get a box score on this one. Here we go. For LSU, Macy Bergeron had gotten on base in her previous at-bat and was pinch run for, and then wasn't declared back into the game the next time she came up to bat. So first pitch comes across, and since she wasn't put back in the regular roster, since she wasn't re-entered into the game, Arkansas's coach comes out and says, no, she's not supposed to be in here, and she's called out immediately, and everything just fizzled from there. The whole game wasn't decided on that. The whole game was decided on, like I said, 25 runner, 15 for LSU, 10 for Arkansas, left on base over the course of the night. LSU walked 9. They had 12 walks of their own. But Tigers fall to the Razorbacks in game 1 of the 3-game series. Game 2 will be right here this evening, 6 p.m. on Talk 107.3 FM. Patrick Wright will be on the call. Pregame will begin at 5:45. Meanwhile, LSU baseball, they're at it tonight for a 3-game set. Oh, by the way, for LSU softball, this is their last regular season series before heading to the SEC tournament for next week. For baseball, they are on the road at Texas A&M starting tonight, 6 p.m. your first pitch. That'll be right down the hall on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Bringing it back home onto campus, Angel Reese makes her return to the Maravich Assembly Center tonight, as does Haley Van Lith, for that matter. as the Chicago Sky are taking on the Brazilian national team in the Maravich Assembly Center tonight. In fact, we had some winners for that. We're going to announce them when we return. We got to break real quick for the Fox Business Report. Oh. $8:05, yes. Yeah, see on 8:05 where it says Kim Carver on the rundown. Yeah. What? Oh, I didn't because when I recorded it, I put it in the wrong time yesterday. Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. Sorry about that. For anybody at WBRZ.com, see the or anybody go to WBRZ.com and see the pictures of the 4 people accused in the overdose deaths out of Tangipahoa Parish, out of Tickfaw. At that second person to the left, her name is listed as Mary Fitzsimons. I'm changing her name to Haley Van Meth. Look at that girl. Oh shit! I got to do traffic. Let's go ahead and start you off on the interstate. It's a super light morning this morning, y'all. So let's go ahead and start off on the interstates. I've got literally nothing to report. The normal volume we see coming in from Denham Springs, not there yet. The normal, well, it's normally pretty smooth flowing coming in from Prairieville, and that's where we are as well. West side, moving over to the west side, taking a look at I-10 eastbound coming into Baton Rouge. We're good to go there. 110's looking good. Both bridges looking good. There are no incidents to report on your surface streets either. So this is about the cleanest traffic report we've had. Let's keep it that way from the Shaw Bills Tire Traffic Center. 624 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. So coming up tonight, I was talking about this going into the break as part of sports. Coming up tonight, WNBA exhibition game, the Chicago Sky will be taking on the Brazilian national team in the Maravich Assembly Center. That game, excuse me, fighting it a little bit this morning. That game, I believe, tips off at 8 p.m. So a bit of a late start. So if you wanted to, I don't know, say hit up downtown for live after 5 to catch the first set with David St. Germain, then make your way over, you probably do both. Or if you wanted to, a great idea? Pop in over at Mathern's. Grab yourself a couple of cold pops for a little pregame tailgating before going to see Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith and the rest of the Chicago Sky take on Brazil. We had a little contest going on where we were giving away tickets to the game, the Show Us Your Angel contest, which was a way better name than I came up with. If you want to know what name I came up with, stick around till the break because I'm not saying it on the air. Stick around on Facebook Live, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care. During the break, we'll share that there. Zanetta Augustine, Jamie Dardar, and Bobby Jones all won tickets to tonight's game. So they will get to enjoy a little WNBA preseason action. As far as the rest of the Chicago Sky are concerned, I don't know how much we know about the Chicago Sky. It's the WNBA is definitely on an upswing right now as far as popularity is concerned, right? And it's hard not to be when you're starting from nothing. But I don't think we're to the point yet where we know rosters from top to bottom. We know things like Caitlin Clark plays for the Indiana Fever. Cameron Brink plays out in Los Angeles for whatever their team's name is. I think it's the Sparks. We know that Paige Beckers got drafted by Dallas. When you have your top 1-2 picks and whatever, you pick up on them, and you probably remember a few of your colleges, people who played at your school when they go on to the WNBA. But I don't think we're to the point yet of where we're memorizing rosters from top to bottom. Like over on AFR in the afternoon, Moscona's interviewing undrafted free agents that got signed by the Saints. I don't think we're doing that with the WNBA anytime soon. But it is definitely on the uptick. So Angel Reese, Haley Van Lith, those are names we know. That's enough to get us out to the PMAC for sure. For tonight's game, 8 p.m., like we said. All right. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about winners, I told you the winners for the Show Us Your Angel contest. We also had our winners for Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider's coming to the River Center on May 16th. Erica Machen or Machen. Need a pronunciation on that one. Machen. What you going with, John? Machen.
Machen?
I'm going Machen.
Machen?
Yeah. All right. Isela. How you pronouncing that? Isela.
Ooh.
Azella?
Azella?
Pearlstone?
Okay.
Kristen Payne and Damian Barbary were our Rob Schneider winners. So, a lot of contests wrapping up.
Which they proved. You can definitely
do it. That's right. Oh, so if we've already announced the winners, we don't have to do that promo anymore.
Ooh.
I know. It's 6:28 to Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We have got an election coming up tomorrow, and I don't know if I can squeeze this take into 2 minutes, but I'm going to try to. It is a rare day when you find a number of Republicans in favor of a tax. And that's what we're going to see for tomorrow. Mayor President Sid Edwards has signed off on Hill Moore's or the district attorney's office's millage. 4 mills on your property tax. What did Hiller say? It comes out to like $5 a month, something to that effect. Sheriff Gautro's on board. Obviously, Hiller Moore's pushing it, but I mean, we often forget what party people are in when you're on a local level. But Sheriff Gautreaux and the district attorney are both technically Democrats. I know, doesn't matter on a local level. Are they arresting people? Or are they putting them behind bars? That's all I care about. But this is one that is transcended where when you see the people who are signing off on it, it is transcending parties a little bit. And before you go to the polls tomorrow, and I'm not making an endorsement one way or another, but before you go to the polls tomorrow, ask yourself this: for the cost of $5 a month, How many times in Baton Rouge have we voted for things that we want, and now we have the opportunity to vote for something we need? I do worry for a number of different reasons about whether or not this is going to pass. We need this thing, okay? We do. I worry that it is a May election. Who the hell cares about a May election? Turnout's probably going to be abysmal. The weather's going to play a factor as well. And just when life takes over, and the first weekend in May, you're running all over the place. You got 3 different Catholic schools have their fairs this weekend. You've got graduation right around the corner. You got travel ball. You got LSU baseball and softball both on the road. So much going on. Are we going to prioritize showing up tomorrow? Here's news. Are we supposed to call this guy, or is he calling us? I ask rhetorically. Oh, okay. Yes. We're calling him. Yep. Yepers. Oh, and good morning, Christy. Hey. Oh. Christy texts me. She says, you made a generalized statement on being busy, and those are the exact things we're busy with. Hey, how many people are graduating right now?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Mercy's Fair is this weekend. So is St. Thomas More. So is the Festival of Two Rivers over at St. Alphonsus. So is Jazz Fest.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Right?
Jeez.
How many people are going to leave tomorrow morning, head down to New Orleans, and then once they get there and they get settled in, they get their little tailgate chairs, put their flag up so their friends can find them. They go, damn it, I forgot to vote. Yeah. You're not leaving before Pearl Jam.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, man. Come back, Chandler.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Francis. Hi, this is John with Brian Haldane.
Awesome
Looking
stuff.
to have you on here in just about 2 or 3 minutes, sir. All right, thank you.
Oh, I said wait till the break for what I was going to. We had to send us your Angel promotion
okay.
to
I
go
was
see
wondering,
Angel
like,
Reese, but they're playing the Brazilian national team, and I think we got a lot. We would have gotten a lot more clicks if the promotion would have been called Angel Reese Goes Brazilian. Do you think we get more clicks?
of course.
Yeah, I think we get more clicks on that. This is why they don't allow me in promotions meetings anymore for stuff like this.
Look, guys, I got this idea. I don't know how far it'll go, but this is what it is.
By the way, also on the Chicago Sky roster is Camilla Cardoso. She used to play at South Carolina, so we used to hate her a good bit. I thought there was one more that we knew. We got Live After 5 on tap this afternoon. We got Jazz Fest down the road. We got a lot going on in Baton Rouge. Is the weather going to hold up? Here's WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan. Okay, so I'm cool with that. She had a little bit of pep in her step. It's not Happy Tuesday. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. It's not like
yeah, she switched it up yesterday too. I thought that was a nice touch. Like,
but you could say happy when you actually sound
Baton
happy.
Rouge. I think that's what she said. Good morning, Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, that works. That changes instead of like Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
It's like let's
Happy Wednesday.
But it's like a morose, like Happy Tuesday. Hey, happy Friday. That's all right. You sound happy.
Right.
.638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So, what will the legacy of Pope Francis be? Digging through my phone, I don't have access to a whole lot of people that have been inside the Vatican, a whole lot. We do have the former ambassador to the Holy See. That'd be Francis Rooney. Been on the show a number of times. He's always very generous with his time, as he is this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on.
No, of course. Always love leaning on your insight because, I mean, you've worked in the building before. Now, to be fair, you were ambassador when, like the front end of Benedict, right?
Yes.
Okay. That being said, though, you've got no shortage of takes on where Pope Francis took that seat. So, your takeaways on Pope Francis and what his legacy will be?
Well, I think he affected the church in several pretty dramatic ways. I mean, he revolutionized the mission by totally downplaying what the previous several popes had focused on, Catholic doctrine and things like that, and basically made it a humanitarian and human rights and seeking to help marginalized people around the world was his primary focus. That's slightly different than the one of Benedict and John Paul. He also globalized the Curia by appointing all these cardinals from all these places. I mean, we got a cardinal in Mongolia now with 1,500 Catholics there, and there's one in Madagascar, which is hard to believe. But that will radically change the culture of the church, as there's so many non-European and non-Western Hemisphere voices in it now. And then the third thing he did, he reorganized how the church operates internally. After that London scandal, he took over the reins of the finances and set up a different organization to handle the finances of the Vatican than the one that had historically done it.
Mhm.
And he also took some power away from the Secretary of State and conducted his own kind of personal diplomacy with things like Ukraine and the expansion of NATO and things that would historically have been spoken about by the Secretary of State were spoken about by him or by people he picked separately.
We're talking with Francis Rooney, former ambassador to the Holy See, about the legacy of Pope Francis. Ambassador Rooney, oftentimes, historically, you could look back and the Pope matched the time that they were in office. The Pope that matched the time that they held that post. For example, Pope John Paul II was the perfect Pope for the end of the Cold War. Are we going to be able? We might not be able to see the forest through the trees right now, but are we going to be able to view Pope Francis's time matched with where he was in, the world's history?
Well, in the sense that the migration issue is maybe one of the most pressing global issues we're facing right now, and that there's increasing question about climate change, certainly in different parts of the world like Africa,
Mm-hmm.
then he was addressing things that are current and that are trending. Not maybe as linked precisely as what you referenced with the virulent anti-communist Pope of John Paul, or the one who Pope Pius XII, who navigated the Vatican through World War II.
Yeah. The with that in mind, though, is history going to view him favorably?
I think it will, because of the externalities. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with a pope talking about the plight of migrants or the plight of marginalized people and the human condition. That's pretty sound ground for a pope. And I think he'll be remembered as a very humanistic individual who took the pope in a much more personal, human way, less doctrinally, less scholarly, less philosophically.
That being said, though, he did blur the lines between that which is religious and that which is political. I mean, we haven't seen, like you said, climate change was a big one where a lot of people, especially here in America, would ask, why are you sticking your nose in this? But he had no problem doing so.
No, he didn't. In fact, there's two things he did that I wrote op-eds against him on. One was that when I said, if you're going to talk about climate, you need to talk about these sorry, corrupt countries in Africa who are committing all kinds of environmental degradation and taking bribes from companies and things and have no environmental sense at all. You should have called them out as well as just talking about what he did. The other thing was when he talked about Putin having some potential justification for invading the Ukraine because we expanded NATO, which was absolutely off base and totally ridiculous.
That being said, though, the position he's speaking from, and it's especially hard for non-Catholics to digest it, but he's not speaking from a position of like, he doesn't write laws. He just provides a guidepost. And are we able to separate those two things? We could disagree with them. Like you said, the one on climate change, I believe you were on the show about that op-ed, if I'm not mistaken, because I was like a rallying cry. But to be able to separate taking him as a religious guidepost versus he's not the one who writes the laws, are we able to just discern and separate between those two things?
Oh yeah, I think the essential influence of the Holy See is its soft power, which I wrote about in my book, The Global Vatican. The ability, the fact that the church has no hegemonic interest, no oil to protect, no territory, etc., gives it a uniquely impartial and unimpeachable position to speak about world affairs. And that's really a big part of what the Pope should do if he wants to try to improve the world condition. And Pope Benedict, for example, was very leading forward on the Islamic fundamentalism problem, which arose during his time. He was very leaning forward about criticizing Ahmadinejad in Iran when he wanted to blow Israel off the map. We worked closely with him on criticizing, using the Holy See soft power to criticize some of these bad rulers around the world. When President Bush came to Rome, we talked about 16 places in the world where the U.S. and the Holy See had mutually supportive diplomatic activities underway.
We got a couple minutes. We got 2 minutes left, actually, with former ambassador to the Holy See, Francis Rooney. Okay, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about where we go moving forward, getting your take on what's going to happen in Conclave, which gets underway next week. Are we going to see a continuation of this trend of getting away from Rome? I mean, we have our first non-European pope. Is this going to continue in this trend, or do you think once those cardinals get behind doors, they're going to say we need to bring it back home for a spell?
Well, first of all, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, who thought this Francis would show up? He came out of nowhere. So you never know what's going to happen in the conclave. That takes a life of its own. Mm-hmm. But with that said, I think there will be a strong impetus for an Italian and or at least a European this time. So, the Italians have provided 82% of the popes, and they kind of look at that as kind of a bit of a franchise for them, and there will be a lot of pressure. And there's several really good candidates from Italy that have a lot of skills that the Holy See could use right now. So that's probably one thing to think about, is an Italian or a European. I don't think that you'll see one of these newer cardinals from the outpost of the world, because they haven't been in the system that long.
Yeah, exactly. And once you get behind those closed doors, and you hit on it exactly, I think the adage is, if you're the front runner when conclave starts, you're not going to be the next pope. But once you get behind those closed doors, and they do have to do a little politicking amongst each other, I don't know how heavy of a voice the newer cardinals can have.
Right. That's true. And they'll have a bit of a learning curve, and depending on how long conclave is versus how long their learning curve is, it really might measure how much influence they do have.
In the meanwhile, keeping with that, last one before I get you out of here, and thank you so much for hopping on board today. Short conclave, long conclave. I know we don't have any real hard takes on this, but do you have a guess?
No, it would be irresponsible to hazard a guess, because they're all over the map. You just never know if the modernity faction of Pope Francis versus the continuity faction of the more conservative cardinals is going to be a protracted discussion, or whether they'll come to terms pretty quick. But those two threads have been running through the Vatican ever since Vatican II, and they're still there, and that's what involved the difference between the conservatives and Pope Francis.
And they will continue to be. In the meanwhile, it's look, you're not the only one without a take on where this is headed. I have yet to find somebody who's come out strong saying, I think it's going to be this guy from this place, but that's why we'll all be tuned in. He is a former ambassador to the Holy See, Francis Rooney. We always appreciate the time, man. Great talking to you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You do the same. We're at 648 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. I'm looking at the clock right now. I'm going to go ahead and let you know, we're going to have to miss your money now, because we got the folks from Lake Urgent Care hopping on in just a little bit. And I don't want to eat up their time. Since we're going to miss your money now, I can go ahead and tell you about, actually, you know what? Let me do that on the back end of the break. It's 648. Let's stay as on time as we can. Quick break, coming back next. It would help if I had my cock-a-doodle live read somewhere. I'm not yelling at you. You gave them to me. I don't know what I did with the damn thing.
Just watch your mouth, man. That kind of language. Cock-a-doodle. I mean, come on, Brian. It's a little much, man. Just calm down, all right?
You know who we need to get on next week? We hadn't talked to him in a little bit. Paul Violas.
Wow, it has been a while.
And you know why we need to get him on? That report that came out of Iraq saying that the New Orleans terror attack was ISIS related. I need to hit him. I'll hit him over. I don't know where we're going to squeeze him in, though. Like, we're stacked all the way through Thursday of next week. And then by that time, it's so far out of the news cycle. Who cares?
Right.
I mean, not who cares, but like, who's still going to be dialed in?
Right.
Seriously, what in the shit did I do with this thing?
You want me to make a new list?
No. Send me an angel.
And they're calling, right?
It should be.
Okay.
Man, I am just on fumes, man. Facebook, what y'all got going on this weekend? Who wants to go see David Saint Germain at Live After 5?
Nice.
Who's going to Jazz Fest?
And if you are going to Jazz Fest, who are you looking forward to going to see? Like, who's, what's the artist? What's the band that you're looking forward to seeing?
It's Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
It's Pearl Jam. Look, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s.
They put on one heck of a show. I've never seen them live, but I've seen footage of them live. And it's like, man.
I'm not as bonkers over Pearl Jam as some.
Yeah. But still, a good show nonetheless, man. Golly.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Hey, there it is. All right, Landmark Bank.
Landmark. Who's the who's calling it? That way I just have a name.
From Lake Urgent Care is
Who is it? I'm sorry. Oh.
Martha, Myrtha Irwin.
Okay. All right. That'll work.
Hang on. You might. I don't have her number. It's a ring. Okay. I got my 651 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, getting you to, we got our friends over at Lake Urgent Care hopping on the hotline in just a second. I do need to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. If you wanted to learn a little bit more about what services they offer, what locations they have, LandmarkBankLA.com is where you're going to start. As far as where Landmark Bank started, they started over 100 years ago as a community bank. And here we are in 2020. They started in the 1800s as a community bank. And here we are in 2025, and they are a community bank. You don't just get a bank, you get a banker. And whether you're talking about your personal banking, your checking, your savings, whether you're talking about borrowing, whether you're talking about buying a new house, adding on to your house, whatever it might be in your personal life, they can help you out there. Now, let's move over to the business world. They're here for you there as well. And you might be asking yourself, Brian, if I'm a business, don't I want the biggest bank possible? Rewind the clock back to COVID. Remember when everything was going through the PPP process? Everybody who was with one of those major national banks was like, I'm lost in the weeds. I'm nothing but a number. That's not the case with Landmark Bank. You get personal service. You get guidance. You get, if you needed, hand holding. Check them out at landmarkbankla.com. All right, it's time for us to check in with our friends over at Lake Urgent Care. Martha Irwin is the market vice president for Lake Urgent Care. They've got a new slogan out there, or the new campaign. It's called Urgent Care Starts With You. Martha, welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you on here. Urgent Care Starts With You. What does that mean?
That means that our whole focus on patient care is the patient. That means that we design every service around what our patients need, their health, making it convenient, easy for them to schedule. That's why we offer the services that we do. We have walk-in visits. We offer virtual care. And that's to make it easier for the patient. Everybody has busy lives, so the more convenient it can be for everyone, the better. And as the market vice president, I also want to make sure that our team is trained to lead with efficiency and empathy, always putting the patient first, prioritizing what they need.
Efficiency and empathy are two really big things right there, because we know to turn to urgent care for colds, fevers, the minor sprain and whatnot. But there's so many different times where it's something that, and like speaking as a 48-year-old man, so many different times where we ignore what's going on with our own body when we probably shouldn't. So give us kind of a quick rundown of what some of the other services y'all offer are.
Okay, so outside of the normal urgent care things, We have appointments for walk-in physicals. And when I say appointments, that just means you can go online
Mhm.
and say, I want to come in for a school physical
Oh, cool.
at 2:00.
Okay.
So you can go register for that, and that's to decrease your wait time. So we have those walk-in physicals for camps and sports. We also offer medical weight loss programs. Our medical weight loss programs are a little bit different. They are supervised. We have occupational health, which is a big service line for us, where we support our local businesses
Mhm.
and their team members, and the virtual visits and the online check-in, like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, for added flexibility. We see patients from 3 months of age and up. We're open 7 days a week, and there's no appointments required. We're open on our major holidays as well.
Those virtual visits were kind of what I was leaning in on there, because it takes advantage not only of, like, if you have a question about something, but you don't have to reroute your entire schedule to get it done. That's part of the efficiency you were talking about a little bit earlier. We got Martha Irwin, the market vice president for Lake Urgent Care, on with us for just a couple more minutes. Summertime's rolling around. You got camps coming up. Of course, you're gonna have sports sports are all year round at this point. But talk to me a little bit about physicals and what folks need to do.
So if your child is playing sports, travel sports, whatever, it doesn't matter. Cheer, dance, it doesn't matter what the sport is, and they need a physical to participate, you just walk into any of our 14 locations. There's no need to schedule an appointment. You just come in, tell them what you're there for, and we'll take care of them.
We have got so many great economic development announcements going on, not just here in Baton Rouge, but all around the state. And with economic development means new jobs. With new jobs means more folks are in need of occupational health help. Talk to me a little bit about talk to me about how y'all support your local businesses.
Okay, so we partner with companies to take care of their team members, and that can be from before they're hired or through an injury.
Mhm.
You know, any from the beginning to the end. So we partner with the companies to care for their teams. We also provide on-the-job injury care. We do pre-employment and DOT physicals. We also do drug screens and alcohol testings in that pre-employment or injury phase, whichever one it is.
Mhm.
You know, we understand how important it is for businesses to have their team members there and to minimize their downtime. So we focus on that efficiency and that quick turnaround time for them. And, you know, we want to support our local workforce here,
Let's
offering
pivot.
the best service we can.
No, absolutely. Let's pivot over to, you had mentioned weight loss services along the way that they're supervised. Obviously, okay. So Easter's in the rear view mirror. The next focus is on the summer. I'm sure weight loss is moving up to the top of the priority list for a lot of folks. How do y'all make it quick and easy?
So our medical weight loss program features the medications semaglutide and tirzepatide. So on our patient's weight loss journey, it's supervised by the clinical providers. Our initial visits include baseline labs because we're about the whole care of the patient, not just the weight loss, the patient as in their entirety. And then we do quarterly lab checks through their weight loss journey. And to keep the patients on track with their weight loss, they come in for a visit once a month. You know, we want to make sure we're treating the patient as a whole and not just focusing on weight loss. We want to monitor that weight loss progress.
I'm keeping one eye on the clock, and I want to make sure I get to this because we've only got about a minute and a half left. Y'all are UCA accredited.
We are.
What does that mean, and how does it separate you from other walk-in clinics?
Being UCA accredited, it means that we meet the highest standards for urgent care in the nation. And, you know, with that, I'm going to, you know, just continue to talk about the urgent care for a little bit. We've been in the community for 25 years, and we have a reputation of trustworthiness and convenient care, and that's what our goal is. We also have, we're on Epic as an electronic medical record, which a lot of the hospitals in the area are.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is your primary care or specialty providers, they can see that you came to the urgent care and what you came for and the treatment that you received. And that is good quality patient care. That's continuity of care. And that's really important. So, you know, that's how we go the extra mile. And that's how that urgent care starts with you. It's all about the patient and the complete visit, the health care overall.
She is Martha Irwin, the market vice president for Lake Urgent Care. Can't tell you how much I appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. They got 14 locations throughout the area. Just Google Lake Urgent Care or just pop it in your phone if you need to find the nearest one. We are all done with hour number 1. We are not done with the show. Hour 2 is coming up after news. Oh, shit. Chandler says Pearl Jam puts on a great show. I saw them at Wrigley a few years back. See, that's awesome. Glad to hear it. Renee says, I'd love to get the Mercy Fair grandson playing travel ball in Hammond. Hammond's not that far. Half an hour. Sky also have Cardoso from South Carolina. Okay, yes. I'm sorry. I wasn't in the Facebook chat when you said that, Troy. I added that on. Yo. I know. Yeah. So we got basketball on and off throughout the day tomorrow. So like first game is like 9:45. So we'll go play basketball, then fair, then basketball, then fair. It's in town. Madison Prep, I think. So yeah, yeah. Who's the band? Pants Party? Oh, they're awesome. They're fun. Actually, one of their members, I think their drummer used to work here. No. Scotty was on this show this week. That's because it's motorcycle awareness. So yeah, we went from having Scotty Drake to having Scotty Mack, and the motorcycle awareness campaign. Scotty Drake is now with Mac. I didn't mess it up once. Yeah. Troy says, "Oh, look at this. We were at Pearl Jam's Wrigley show last Labor Day weekend. Such a great venue for a show." But how was the show? My apologies, y'all. I'm gonna be yawning all show long. Stupid softball. And they freaking lost. Like either lose and get my ass home early or pull it out and win. You can't keep me there all night and lose. Worst of both. It's the worst of both worlds.
That's tough.
Oh. Losing to Arkansas. So I want to get Brian Glorioso on to talk about his bill, but I think I pissed him off at a party.
Oh,
so that might not happen. We had a travel association at a legislative reception over at Longview House a couple weeks ago, and I'm standing there, I'm talking with Kim Carver and Mark Wright from Covington and a couple of other St. Tammany legislators. And the ones who are from West, so I'm Covington, so it was like West St. Tammany, and I'm always joking about how like if you're from the wrong side of the parish, being Slidell, and he's from Slidell. Oh. And I just completely I was like, you're from the east side. And I rolled my eyes, and all the guys from Mandeville, Covington, and Madisonville are like, they thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I think I might have actually pissed them off.
Oh. Hopefully that's not the case. Maybe he got over it.
Maybe he doesn't even freaking remember.
Maybe
me.
he doesn't.
I mean,
you know?
maybe I need to drop my ego at the door and stop self-aggrandizing. It was funny as shit, though. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. Yes, we are keeping an eye on the weather, as we are expected to get rain before it's all said and done today. We're starting off your second hour at 71 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Busy hour this hour. Senator Bill Cassidy on the hotline at 7:15. Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, joins us at 7:35. That first public meeting for Plan Baton Rouge 3 was this week. I was there. We're going to talk about it. What do you want to see in downtown Baton Rouge? There's so many good ideas. So many bad ideas, too. And I really, really, really want to run with one of the bad ideas. We'll talk about it with Patrick Grimion coming up at 7:35. Right now, though, top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Hey, if you're taking your graduation pics on LSU's campus, please keep in mind that Mike the Tiger's habitat is not sealed off from garbage. Ginger Gutner at the vet school reminded folks that please don't pop champagne bottles. The cork can end up inside the habitat. Please don't fire off confetti cannons, because the confetti will fly through the air and potentially land inside the habitat. And it could be a health hazard for Mike. He's not going to eat it on purpose, but I mean, like, let's say it lands in his water. He'll slurp that on up real quick. And by the way, we're not just talking about being outside of Mike's habitat on ground level. If you're firing off confetti cannons from the top of the ramp of the PMAG, you're going to get the same result. So please avoid that if you can.
Number 4.
Governor Jeff Landry signed an executive order yesterday that requests the federal government to ban soda and candy purchases from Louisiana's food stamp program. The governor cited other states that made similar requests. Although I will say, if he used the word soda in his executive order, Governor Landry, you're from Louisiana. It's Coke. I don't care what flavor Coke. It's just Coke.
Number 3.
East Baton Rouge Parish Mayor President Sid Edwards kicked off his Pray for the Parish initiative yesterday morning. The initiative is meant to encourage unity and hope through the Christian faith. Edwards said this at the River Center Ballroom yesterday. Several faith leaders were on hand to mark the occasion. It coincided with the National Day of Prayer.
Number 2.
Baton Rouge police body cam footage of a shooting that left one person dead at a Gwinnett Avenue motel shows 2 officers responding to a domestic dispute call, approaching a car before opening fire after the car's occupant lifted a rifle. The video was released yesterday. Kevin Vallon, 34 years old, was killed in the April 20th shooting over at the Super 6 Inn and Suites.
Number 1.
Tomorrow is Election Day. Yes, it's May 3rd. Yes, it's the second weekend of Jazz Fest. Yes, Mercy Fair, St. Thomas More Fair, St. Alphonsus Fair, all going on this weekend. But, before you get out there to start having fun tomorrow, swing by your local polling place. This is an important one. Okay, if you live in District 67, you got to elect a new state representative. If you live in St. George, you have council runoffs, city council runoffs. If you live anywhere within East Baton Rouge Parish, the district attorney has a millage that's going to be on your ballot, 4 mills, to help beef up the budget for his office, as they are backlogged, way backlogged. We actually had Hiller Moore on with us yesterday. We were talking a little bit about fentanyl, but the conversation eventually pivoted over to that. You can check out that audio on demand at talk1073.com, courtesy of Lake Urchin Care.
Well, what's trending is Mike Waltz is leaving his post as National Security Advisor to be the new U.S. Ambassador to the UN.
Did they put this out in a press release, or did you just happen to get on the chat on the Signal app?
Right, exactly. It's sent via text.
Okay, a serious question, though.
Right.
Is it enough for him to leave that post? If you're looping in reporters from the Atlantic on a text thread.
Yeah.
And by the way, I know as a Republican, I'm supposed to just hate Democrats and want to beat Democrat. Like that's my only job as a Republican is to hate the other side. I understand that. But if we don't have a little bit of self-reflection, it's going to hurt us in the long run. We should demand more of ourselves.
For sure.
We should demand more of ourselves. And that kind of, I don't want to say incompetence, because I mean, but that kind of screw up, we should look at that under a microscope and say, hey, whoa, pal. I don't know if I can reward you with another top-notch gig. You got to go from this gig for sure.
Yeah, one would think, but
I'm not going to move you
case.
over to be the ambassador of the UN. Who knows what's going to happen when he's got those translators on his head?
Oof. Hey, China said it is initiating trade negotiations with the U.S., potentially paving the way for the world's two largest economies to start talks to resolve the recent trade war.
There getting to be more and more articles talking about how the tariffs on China are affecting China's economy. And, I mean, we hear about it so negatively on our front. Like we hear about it negatively on like, oh, the store shelves are going to be empty and the price of everything. And then Donald Trump's insensitive because he said, kids are going to have 2 dolls instead of 30. And are dolls still a thing? Anyway, what we're not seeing though is the ramifications on the other side of the world. How bad is China hurting as a result of this? And that's kind of the point, right? Exactly. If you make them feel the same sting that we have felt for years by having this imbalance, and you always want a bit of a trade imbalance because that means your economy is prosperous, you are going to have negative trade but negative trade, yes. Negative penalties, no. So as you zoom out, look at the world stage, if China's starting to feel the sting and they're willing to talk and say, let's end all this. What can we do to make things a little bit more comfortable for you? Then I'm here to listen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Hey, experts are warning that the most active volcano in the Pacific Northwest, the Axial Seamount, could erupt, quote, any day now.
Any day now.
So if we don't have enough going on, we got to worry about underground volcanoes.
Why not? Gosh. Why not? Probably going to be blamed on the tariffs anyway.
Bring it on.
It's a mile wide underwater volcano. It sits 300 miles off the coast of Oregon. It's more than 4,900 feet below the surface of the Pacific Ocean. The thing is, it erupted in 2015, triggering roughly 8,000 earthquakes. You think about all the earthquakes we're already having, right?
Yeah.
There was another one yesterday in Utah that measured a 3.9.
Oh, somehow I missed that. Yeah. Wow.
Well, no, you know we missed it. 0 damage. No one was hurt.
Okay.
Yeah. It was not a real thing. It happened, but it didn't affect anybody. So, but yeah, we're seeing so many of them right now.
Yeah. You think about that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, did you see the story where Africa's splitting in half?
Yeah, it's insane.
Did you see? Like we're gonna have
just going. Yeah.
It's gonna take 1,000 years or more, or more than 1,000 years.
But still,
we're gonna have a new ocean, and Africa might just split off from itself.
Like the Gulf of Africa. Will they have their own Gulf? Will they have their own?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, what? I brain farted on the name. You would do that. Just put me on the spot so I can brain fart on the name. It's 7:13 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. If you don't yet have your lunch plan squared away, let me remind you about the folks over at PF Chang's. You know where to find them. They're in Town Center, off Corporate Boulevard. Look for the Giant Golden Horse, and lunch specials abound, y'all. Starting off at $13.99 for lunch. They've got dinner specials starting at $16.99 over at PF Chang's. I am partial to the sesame beef, but last time around I was talked into the black pepper chicken. It's Korean style chicken, stir fried with onions and celery in a bold, savory black pepper sauce, and the black pepper sauce is abundant. It is awesome. The black pepper chicken, part of the new menu over at PF Chang's. And don't forget, I always tell you about the food, and I always forget about the drinks. How about an iced tea, iced green tea that is the real deal? You know what? The last time I tried to mention the tea, I mentioned it was earthy, and everybody's like, earthy? It's a tea. It's a different flavor, y'all. It's got a different pop to it. It is earthy and refreshing at the same time. It is Zen in a glass. Check it out. PF Chang's, Corporate Boulevard, Town Center. Look for the Giant Golden Horse. Awesome sauce.
Yeah, this is really fascinating, these underground volcanoes, right? Let's see. So when it erupts, the magma faces the pressure of the ocean, of course. When magma comes in contact with water, the temperature change is so dramatic that it solidifies in a process called quenching. So did not really know that. But I did wonder, I mean, how that works.
I don't know. I don't worry about volcanoes erupting because I know I'm prepared. You know why I'm prepared?
How are you prepared?
I grew up playing the floor is lava.
You know what? You got a point.
Okay.
You got a
Now,
point.
I was sitting on that joke through both trending segments. In hindsight, should I have used it? It was sometimes I don't know if the joke, if they're too stupid. It's so stupid.
But you know what? It gets a little. It'll get a little chuckle.
I am fully prepared because I grew up playing the floor is lava.
Dang it.
I can't tell if it's my glasses or I'm having a stroke. What the hell? I just keep losing my vision. 716 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right, so I think it was last week we were supposed to have Senator Cassidy on. He was in town. He was making the rounds, and then our news partners over at WBRZ just completely jammed us up and kept him too long. So we got him back on the calendar on the hotline for right now. He's back with us. Senator Cassidy, how are you, man?
Hey, Brian Haldane, I am good, and good morning to you, and good morning to the people listening.
Good morning to you as well, sir. I'm actually kind of glad we had to wait a little bit before having this conversation because within that time, so many other things have transpired that have moved to the top of the docket. I do want to get to the president giving you a shout out in his press conference or in Invest in America event over at the White House early in the week. We'll get to that in a little bit, but can we start by taking a look at the president's first 100 days? And what are your takeaways from the Senate side as to the work he's been getting done?
So I actually talk about the president's first 30 days. One of the reasons he got elected was uncontrolled immigration at the U.S.-Mexican border. When with that came a lot of fentanyl flowing across. Fentanyl, 74,000 roughly Americans die annually from fentanyl overdose. That all happened under Biden-Harris. The president made a promise he was going to take care of that. In the first 30 days, we now have illegal immigration coming across that border down to the lowest level in decades, and the Mexican army is going after cartels to disrupt the flow of fentanyl. So that happened in the first 30 days, with kind of a continued improvement over the next 70. And I think that's one of the biggest things that could have happened, and the president accomplished it.
And we are seeing right now, and I actually spoke with District Attorney Hiller Moore about this yesterday. We are seeing right now the number of fentanyl overdoses in Baton Rouge, and I know that's a microscopic view compared to the whole nation, but the number in Baton Rouge is way, way down. Not just a slight downward trend, but this year is way, way down through the first quarter versus where we were this time last year.
So when Biden had the open borders, his left wing wanted to flood the zone. It was clear they had made that decision. But with that decision came fentanyl. And with the fentanyl came the deaths. And so President Trump made that promise. He's kept that promise. We were controlling the border, and I think what Hillary said would be true nationwide. Hopefully, we won't be speaking about 74,000 people dying from fentanyl overdose. Hopefully, we'll be talking about zero, and that day can't come soon enough. We need it to be zero.
When you talk about the direction of the left, I mean, is this just a matter of misprioritization? I mean, there will always be migration, right? There will always be those that want to come to America because we are America. Being a little bit too lenient, or a lot too lenient in this case, it leads to this misprioritization that gives you an area where you can't have the best of both worlds.
No, I agree with that. And by the way, President Trump, if you've noticed, he is saying things like, wait a second, if somebody comes here, gets a degree from one of our universities, gets a PhD, then we probably should try and keep that person than allowing them to go home because they add value to our economy. And so the president's trying to get the best of both worlds, in which we get those folks who are going to create jobs, create growth for the rest of us. Because, by the way, capitalism and free markets is about everybody getting richer, not just one or two people. But at the same time, we got to do it in a controlled fashion in which the people who are coming legally, and they're helping us all.
We got Senator Bill Cassidy with us talking about, we're talking about the president's first 30 days. Let's move over to the first 100 days. Broaden that scope out. Where else are you seeing highlights?
Well, so we had that press conference at the White House 2 days ago in which he was announcing these projects being built. I think it's a $5.7 billion Hyundai steel plant being built in Ascension Parish.
Yeah.
That's going to create thousands of construction jobs, thousands of permanent jobs, or over 1,000 permanent jobs. Then we have like a $17 billion project in Southwest Louisiana for Woodside Energy, LNG export. And then Venture Global in Plaquemines Parish is going to again expand. And folks might say, well, that's been in the works for a while. Keep in mind, the Biden-Harris administration had put a pause on permitting new LNG export facilities. So if we want an economy which is better for our fellow Americans, more jobs, better jobs, then you're not going to do that by putting a pause on construction, creating uncertainty. That pause is ended. Those projects are going forward. We're going to have more jobs in Louisiana, more jobs countrywide.
Walk me through a little bit of those two different scenarios there, because yes, the Hyundai announcement was a long time in the works, but also something pulled the trigger to make them close that deal when they closed that deal. So there's a balance there between giving the first 100 days credit versus keeping that credit with those who have been working the deal since the beginning.
Yeah, and I can tell you, deals can be pulled. Yeah. And so the president's goal, let's create those better jobs. And that's the Republican Congress goal. That's my goal. My goal is, how do I make Louisiana an even better place to live, where your children and your grandchildren stay here, grow up here, and don't move to another state? That's in part accomplished by better jobs, better paying jobs. And so they can pull those investments. And under the Biden-Harris administration, in which they would suddenly just stick you with a bunch of regulations, or a core permit that never comes through, or an EPA oversight that suddenly takes a timeline for development from 2 months, 6 months to 2 years to 3 years, that kills a project. If you have an administration that comes in and says, listen, we're open for business. If you're creating more jobs and they're better paying, we're open for business, boom, we're going to help you. We're going to work with you, not sacrificing the environment, but also not just killing you with red tape. That opens doors, and I think that's what this administration is doing.
We got Senator Bill Cassidy with us, talking about the president's first 100 days. Obviously, that's going to walk us up to the tariff conversation. Senator Cassidy, are we all too quick on the trigger with judging on tariffs?
I think we are. If our goal is more jobs, better paying jobs, and you say to the average American, is it fair that other countries charge us tariffs higher than the tariffs we charge them? That ain't fair. In fact, it makes it less likely that you have more jobs and better paying jobs here. If you say to the average American, wait a second, if they lower their tariffs to equal ours, so it's a level playing field, is that fair? Oh, absolutely, that's fair. That's the president's goal. And we can see countries like Vietnam, a major trading partner, Israel, others, have immediately come forward and say, we will drop our tariffs, let's negotiate, let's go forward. That's the goal. Now, could something bad happen in the future? Yes. But already there's results from this in which we see countries responding by lowering their tariffs and offering to negotiate.
What about the rest of us, though? The third parties who, and I would include myself in this number here, we want to believe we're on board, but we also know it's going to take time. That being said, my personal economy isn't growing at the rate that needs to keep up with the increased prices. And I guess what I'm asking is, how do I stay afloat in the meanwhile?
Yeah. So first, the President Trump has said this is a hangover from the Biden-Harris administration. It has a little bit of a hangover. It has only been 100 days. But I can tell you that if, let's just imagine this. Okay, Hyundai Steel starts investing $5.7 billion in Ascension Parish.
Mm-hmm.
That means that there's going to be people moving there. There's going to be more groceries. There's going to be more home building. There's going to be more people buying car insurance, mortgage insurance, all sorts of insurance. Yes. That means that grocer has a little bit more money to advertise. He wants those customers to come to his grocery store, not someone else's. He may decide to advertise on the Brian Haldane show.
Yes.
And you're going to say to your people, sure, the grocer needs more advertising, but I need more money. And all of a sudden, Guarantee is paying Brian a little bit more. Capitalism works in a virtuous cycle in which first you start and it works out from that start. And that's what we're seeing. It doesn't happen overnight, but it begins to happen. And that beginning then triggers something which happens along the way.
All right, let me rephrase my question, Senator. Yes, I'm completely agree with you. 24 to 36 months from now, that's the way it should play out. How do I stay afloat until then? I got 24 more mortgage payments to make before that happens.
Yeah, I get that too. And so one thing that I am personally working on is how do we keep flood insurance? This is one example, because obviously one problem in South Louisiana is the cost of home ownership. And that is both flood insurance and property and casualty. Now, property and casualty is a state issue. Car insurance is a state issue. Flood insurance is a national issue. And I am working, I've had 3 to 4 conversations this week on how do we get flood insurance premiums lower. And by the way, we're continuing to see progress from the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which puts money out there to decrease your risk of flooding. And that is the ultimate way to lower flood insurance. And so some of this has been in the works, in which the money that I've worked to get to our state from the bipartisan infrastructure bill is being deployed to help make our state a better place to live in. Again, a place where people set up businesses and create better paying jobs.
Let's pivot back over to fentanyl. You had mentioned it a little bit then, talking about protecting the border, but you're actually doing some work right now. In fact, you introduced a resolution designating, was it 3 days ago, National Fentanyl Awareness Day. Tell me a little bit about the Halt Fentanyl Act.
Yeah, so 2 things. First, the Halt Fentanyl Act. The criminals who want to sell fentanyl have begun to make something that looks like fentanyl, addicts like fentanyl, kills like fentanyl, but it's technically not fentanyl. It's just a little bit different, so they get away with it. So that said, we introduced a bill and it's passed the Senate. It will pass the House. It will be signed into law by the president. I'll get a little bit of a pen with his name, kind of signature, kind of embossed on it. That this is one more Cassidy bill with a President Trump pen beneath it, and that says that if it looks like fentanyl, if it addicts like fentanyl, and if it kills like fentanyl, then it is fentanyl for the purposes of law enforcement. One more tool for Hill or Moore to be able to prosecute people and send them to Angola if they are pushing fentanyl. Now, related to that is just because the number of fentanyl deaths is down doesn't mean we can forget about it. And so I introduced this resolution for the National Fentanyl Awareness Act so that people are aware, one, is still coming across, and also that if you take it, or if you take any illegal drug that might be laced with fentanyl, you're at risk for overdose, and obviously I don't want that.
Well, and when you say looks like fentanyl but isn't exactly fentanyl, I mean, you're a doctor. Fentanyl's been prescribed in hospitals for years. This is a different. This is not the same thing. It's a replication, and it's a deadly poison, not a prescribable drug.
Oh yeah, believe me. My mother, God rest her soul, had terrible pain at the end of her life. She had a little bit of a fentanyl patch that she would take and it would ease her pain.
Yeah.
We're talking about people who are taking some sort of pill. They think it's just something that's going to, make them feel good. It's laced with fentanyl and they die from an overdose. So drugs can be used as medicine, and drugs that are used as medicine can also kill. And that's why you need prescriptions. These are drugs not being given by prescriptions. And if our goal is to make Louisiana a better place to live, one way to make it a better place to live is to decrease the risk of somebody from dying from an overdose.
He is Senator Bill Cassidy. We always appreciate the time. Thank you so much for hopping on board today.
Thanks, Brian.
Absolutely. We're at 7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. I appreciate Senator Cassidy hopping on board as it's super busy time. All right, 7:30. We got to take a quick break. Petty G's in the house next. I decided this is, oh, thank you, sir. So, for the Mercy Fair, I think this might actually fit my wife because this is a bit small for me. My wife's got a smaller head than I do, like a lot smaller head than I do. So hats are always too big on her. But for the fair tomorrow, we're doing a Kentucky Derby hat party.
Really?
Yeah, there's a hat contest going on tomorrow. So I think Christy might actually be in the works here.
So if it is too small, she can pull this and tighten it.
Or if it's too big.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's too big. She can pull it.
That is awesome.
And then so is it like just a hat?
The Kentucky Derby hat contest. I don't know.
Is it just all day?
You not read the bulletin?
Dude. No.
Just like you don't show up for the Planned Baton Rouge meeting? He's walking into an ambush.
He's coming in too hot this morning. Yeah. It was on my calendar. I had every intention of going. I would say the traffic was bad, but that would be a lie.
No, you know what you can say?
Because I can walk there.
Because I didn't walk in until 5:45. You know why? Parking was shit.
Oh, at the library?
No. So you would have gone to the wrong place anyway. It was at the Arts and Science Museum.
Oh.
So you're across the street from the River Center. So there's limited street parking. The nearest garage was on Convention at 3rd. So you're going to walk 4 blocks to get there. Or you're going to keep circling looking for parking on the street. Meanwhile, you got bowling going on over the River Center. So all those spots are taken. You had great turnout. There's like 300 people there, 200 people there. Something.
200. I think 200 is what they had said in the article.
That's what the Advocate said, but I don't know that they know how to count. It felt like more than that.
Yeah. Well, no. So I missed the first community advisory board meeting yesterday that they had following it up.
Oh,
that's what I missed.
How you get on that board?
I don't know. An email comes my way because I attended something early on. But I was in there first. I was at the press conference when they announced it all, and the game plan.
Okay.
What you working on here? This looks like a.
You should know what this is just by looking at it. You shouldn't even have to read what's on there.
It looks like a schedule.
It's a huge schedule of multiple stages and multiple bands, and it's the Jazz Fest schedule.
Oh, why would I know what that looks like? I've never been.
Because everybody in Louisiana should know what the Jazz Fest schedule looks like just off of glance.
I've never been to Jazz Fest.
Why not?
Because it's in New Orleans.
It's hot. It's always rainy and humid and wet. It's muddy. People stink like weed and patchouli. They're all up on you and they're gross and they got bare feet in the mud. It's disgusting and it's overcrowded and it's the best thing ever.
I was about to say, are you trying to sell it with that?
Who are you selling this to? Didn't I see something somewhere that they were telling people to stand up while the Reformers were playing? Or is that just a falsely created social media
I have
post?
no idea.
Like it was people.
I mean, don't get mad at the people in front of you are standing when you're trying to sit there in your tailgate chair.
Yeah, well, it's like people were like sitting down on the ground, and the people with the security clothes were coming around saying, you got to stand while the Reformers were playing.
I don't know.
I don't know if that was inaccurate or just some fake created social media video.
Luke Combs is tonight.
Luke Combs.
Heck yeah, man.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe
So
I
is-
need to go now.
Right.
So is Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
Okay.
The Whalers featuring Julian Marley.
Okay, see that's cool. Okay, some legacy, some Marley legacy
Uh-huh.
there.
You got who else is headlining on the different stages?
But dude, I would like to see freaking Luke Combs.
Over at the WWOZ Jazz Tent, you got Joshua Redmond Group featuring Gabriel Cavassa. Don't know who that is.
Cool. Cool.
In the
Cool.
Blues Tent tonight, the Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Tents. They're set up in tents now.
Some of them are. I mean, the big stages aren't.
Is that to combat the rain, the mud, and the muck?
I think it's kind of holding the sound too, because there's only so
Give you,
many.
like different areas where you can go and be
Yeah.
in this little blues environment, be in this other environment.
Yeah. What else we got here? The further you scroll to the right, the less you recognize the names. So let's go back to the two big stages. Before Luke Combs is Wayne Toops.
All right.
Saw him a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago
Ah,
at the same party where I pissed off.
Oh man,
what is this?
he's always a good time. Wayne Dukes.
What did you do? What did you do wrong?
I may have pissed off a state legislator. He won't call me back now.
What'd you do?
He's from Slidell.
Okay.
And it was funny. In the moment, it's one of those ones where you try to recreate it and it's going to sound stupid.
Yeah.
And it's pointless. But in the moment, it was funny.
Yeah.
And we were just riffing on a whole bunch of things, and I was just generally being funny.
Mm.
And I think he did it.
In Louisiana, we are anything but territorial.
Yep. So coming up tomorrow.
Who's on the list?
Tomorrow's the big. Well, the big one tomorrow is Pearl Jam.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So wait, so are you ditching Mercy Fair and going to Jazz Fest?
No.
So then why even look at the Jazz Fest lineup?
Because I always do. Because it's the Jazz Fest lineup. It is. All right. We got potential of rain. Oh, let's hope we can keep it. Stave it off. Stave it off. Here's your forecast with Emma Kate Cowan. Before Pearl Jam's Dumpster Funk. Before that is I've never heard of Samantha Fish.
So what made
And
it
before that is Cowboy Mouth.
for you become this? Well, it's Jazz Fest. You just have to look at the lineup every single year, regardless of going.
The millions upon millions of dollars that it brings to town. It's kind of important.
Okay.
It's it's hotels are at a 90% clip for the weekend.
Okay.
Going into the weekend, that's not counting who walks in and adds on.
Okay.
So along with hotels being booked out at a 90% clip, you've got all the return for flights at Armstrong International.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an overall world-renowned event. The whole world knows about it. So
how do we recreate something like that here in BR? Not a Jazz Fest-esque.
we have our Blues Festival.
We have our Blues Festival and we have our bowling tournaments.
The bowling tournament has been an uptick of
Oh,
about.
it's I know.
738 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time to talk Planned Baton Rouge Phase 3. We have got Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show in the house. How are you, sir?
I'm well, Brian. How are you?
I'm really good.
Really
It's
good.
Mercy Fair weekend. I get fired up for it.
Are you
I-
more fired up for Mercy Fair or Jazz Fest, though?
So normally the Mercy Fair is on the first weekend of Jazz Fest.
Okay.
And you can, we don't often go to Jazz Fest, but it's
a staple.
It is a staple. It is a Louisiana staple. It is one of those things that, like, when you think when you look at New Orleans' annual calendar, there are certain things that are going to pop. Okay, Mardi Gras is going to pop.
Of course.
Sugar Bowl is going to pop.
Of course.
When you have the Super Bowl, obviously that goes above and beyond. When all the heart doctors come to town, that's a big. That, believe it or not, it's a big one. Jazz
What
Fest.
are they coming to town?
It's in the summertime.
What is like some heart conference?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Love it.
Yeah, the Morale Convention Center is jam-packed.
Love it.
It's amazing. I find that unbelievably, I don't know if ironic would be the right word, that you would have heart doctors converge on the French Quarter, but
maybe that's why they're there.
Just saying, that sauce is a little thick, Doc. So, it's just Jazz Fest is one of those ones. It's world renowned. People come from all over the place, and so yeah, I'm always dialed in. We don't go as often as I would like to, but you
Makes
got
sense.
Mercy. I mean, when you got kids, your school fair is going to. I mean, we're going to go see Pants Party tonight.
Who's Pants Party?
I have the band playing the Mercy Fair.
Great.
Yeah,
Where are they from?
yeah. They got a big
I've
thing
never,
tomorrow.
I've never heard of Pants Party.
Oh, they're a good band. They're a party band, a cover band.
Okay,
So
okay,
they're
great.
they're a lot of fun.
I'll hear them
Lot
from
of
my
fun.
house. Love it.
Yeah. No, come on out, man.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
I'm taking the boy to the houseboat down in across the river. We're going to have a camp out with the grandfather and the uncles.
Oh, they come out tomorrow.
That's 100% the plan. We're coming
Okay.
straight back from fishing,
Okay.
and
All
we're,
right.
we're
All right.
going there until he falls down
So-
tired.
Tomorrow, yeah.
That's
So-
the plan.
Does he have the bracelet?
We're
the
gonna get
rides?
the
Okay.
bracelet.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going cash free this year.
Oh,
So,
so
yeah.
all the cash, the $2 in my wallet's gonna be no good.
No.
Okay.
You just put your card down, get them.
So is it a card system?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
It's a bracelet system. I'll let my wife handle the whole thing. I'll just.
So we're going like Disney World at Mercy.
Yeah.
It's like just doo-doo-doo.
Oh yeah.
Please
Oh,
tell
yeah.
me it's at least got the Mercy logo on it. Something we can use as a keepsake.
I have no idea.
Anyway, so it's cardless, great. I mean,
Cashless.
cashless, great.
Yep.
Cashless and cardless.
Yeah.
Just bracelet.
Well, no, you'll be using your card like at the food booths and the bar
Mm,
and the bar.
yeah, and the other bar.
No, let's be very no. Well, there's a bar, there's a satellite bar, and then there's a golf cart that drives around selling beer individually. But let's be very, very clear here, okay? A lot of school fairs have a beer tent.
Uh-huh.
No.
No, we have a bar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With a team of top notch bartenders,
Fantastic
Yes.
folks.
Yeah.
Serving the margaritas and whatever else you want.
all dressed together.
What's the I can't wait to see the
So,
themes.
oh yeah,
I love the
no.
themes.
So they're normally like in Hawaiian shirts.
Lifeguard
And
themes.
generally,
some
they'll
nights.
grow up. No, it's just the Hawaiian shirts.
Last year they were lifeguards.
Were they lifeguards?
They were lifeguards. They had the little fanny packs. They all had lifeguard on it. They had sunscreen.
I do. Yeah, I do remember.
Come on now.
Well, I think, but then they'll show up for church on Sunday morning.
In
Dressed-
dressed like
It's
it's the dedication.
it's one of my favorite things.
Of course.
It's one of my favorite things because it's that nice bridge between where we are, like as a community.
Mhm.
It's just it's one of those community things. And
Yeah.
we're not the only fair going on this weekend. St. Thomas More,
Great.
St. Alphonsus. You just heard news. Bro Bridge got Crawfish Festival going on this weekend. It's this time of year, man.
It's the
It's this time-
festival
Live
fair
after 5 is
season.
tonight. David St. Romain's gonna be on stage.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's just this is one of those things that makes Louisiana so great. It's why we are unique.
Yeah, it's all the festivals, it's attraction, getting people down here. So if we've got Live After 5 tonight, those bowling folks are in for a treat.
Yes, they absolutely are, and it's so great seeing them all over. I've been
I
seeing
love seeing their shirts
because they're all
just
in bowling
walk
shirts.
out.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, they're all just lugging their balls around
They got the-
downtown. It's great.
Can we phrasing?
Bowling balls.
There you
downtown.
I mean, we're all lugging our balls downtown, Patrick.
No, but theirs are in bags.
Trying my best to keep it on the rails here.
They got wheels on it. It's great.
Saw a guy the other day. I was by the downtown Hilton, and I was like, "How'd you bowl?" And he's like, "How do you know I bowl?" I'm like, "Look at your shirt.
Your shirt's a dead giveaway.
Come on, Roy Munson."
Yeah. But I mean, like they're here till June, right? And they've been here for like
June
2
or
months.
July. Yeah,
They've been here
Dude,
for a while.
I love this event so much because it's not like a 1 week. Like, okay, Jazz Fest for 2 weekends. New Orleans hotels pop.
Yeah.
Like they'll be at 95% occupancy between last week and this week, Thursday through Sunday and whatnot. They'll pop at that huge clip. With the bowlers, we don't see one big pop for a weekend like we do for an LSU football game. What we see is like a 15 to 20% increase over the course of 3 to 4 months.
It's fantastic.
I know.
I saw, and I thought it was mostly age skewed towards the more educated, more knowledgeable folks that are later on in life. Turns out, no, this is a family affair. So a man with his wife and a kid in a stroller and like a toddler, and he was in his bowling outfit.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a career for folks. This
For
is
some,
fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, think about what hobbies you have that you put your time and effort into.
Yeah. They just make a career out of it.
Yeah.
I would
Well-
love to just watch them bowl.
So, I mean, I don't know if it's a career. It's this for some.
For some, it could
For
be.
some, they're still trying to aspire to that.
Right.
So I asked the guy, I was like, how'd you bowl? He's like, how did you know bowl? I'm like, your shirt. He's like, I didn't do too good. And I'm like,
What's not too good?
I didn't want to like really, rip the scab off h's wound, but I was like, are you at least enjoying yourself? He's like, oh yeah, I'm done bowling. I got 3 more days here.
So it's so it's like a rotation of
Wow.
people.
Yeah.
And then they're staying for that long.
Yeah.
I mean, did you get into was he just losing out at the tournament so he's done? Or
Yes.
is did he plan to stay?
No, he had booked his stuff out to where he was going to bowl, and then he was going to enjoy South Louisiana.
Oh, fantastic.
I know.
Like so how do we get more of that down here? Where people want to stay the extra days. They want to walk around downtown Baton Rouge enjoying the food
Isn't that
and the
what
hospitality.
Isn't that what Plan Baton Rouge 3 is all about?
That's the hope, right?
It's about, revamping, for the most part, revamping downtown Baton Rouge to where you have more attractions, you have more events, you have more accessibility. I went to the first meeting. The first public meeting was 2 nights ago.
Yep.
First of all, and I'll say it out loud, parking sucked. They were at the Louisiana Arts and Science Museum. Parking absolutely sucked. Now, couple of problems here, okay? First one was, I'll take the fact that parking sucked because the bowlers were in the River Center, and we were across the street from the River Center.
Yeah.
So, understandable, okay? I get it. I understand that. But when you start looking at where the nearest parking garage was, it was a good 4 or 5 block walk. Corner of Convention and 3rd would be where the nearest garage was. Or, I guess, the other side of the River Center, but that you'd have to pay for. You got to pay $10 because that's the River Center.
It's the premium spot.
Right.
Yeah.
So parking was an issue. Once you got there, though, the Advocate said about 200 people. I don't think the Advocate can count. I don't.
Maybe there was 200 people at the time the Advocate representative was there.
What was it like? Remember the movie The Program? Early 90s, James Caan, college football coach?
You know the answer to that before you even asked it, Brian.
I always knew you couldn't write, but I thought at least you could count. That's kind of where I was at when they said 200. So it felt like more than that. It might not have been more than that, but it felt like it was standing room only.
Yeah.
In the presentation part. And then everybody went and mingled and shared their notes and put their little pins in the flag where they think the problems areas are.
I saw the pins and flags. So what was presented? I was unable to attend.
What was presented was what we see in other places, what some of the hot spots are, what is geographically possible or geologically possible.
We have a lot of that to look at.
I know. And you say we because
I'm on the community advisory board.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when you say we, it's not just like the grand we is in all of Baton Rouge.
The collective of folks that are
going
to be doing what they can to help.
One of my main takeaways was 3 things.
Okay.
I don't know how much people are responding to things based off of what they actually want or based off of what they feel other people think they should want.
Is there ever a way to know for sure?
I don't know. Okay, and I'll tell you exactly where I'm going with this. Bicycles.
Yeah, we've got. So I work.
I'm level of
right
emphasis,
of where all the bikes are.
Yeah,
they're always full.
Okay,
I never see bikes.
Maybe I'm missing the boat.
No. They're always the racks are always full.
That's what I know.
Meaning no one's taking them.
Oh, the rent-a-bikes.
The rent-a-bikes.
Okay. For some reason, if you looked at all the notes and if you I was reading all the little post-it notes that were stuck on there.
Yeah.
And there's an emphasis on more bike paths. I'm like, why?
So I think it's a means of transportation for some. But why not we look at what other cities are doing with their scooter rental programs?
Got a friend of mine's in Washington, D.C. right now, or he might be home by now. But he's been in Washington, D.C. this week. His first trip to Washington. And he's like, we've been taking scooters everywhere.
LSU's got them.
LSU's got them.
And I see students on them all the time.
Now, that being said, I'm going to go full parent mode.
Okay.
This doesn't go here. Don't leave your scooter in the sidewalk.
That's what you're paying for, the service, and they're supposed to come around and pick them up and charge them and redistribute them. But yes, be responsible, put them back where they're supposed to go.
But that being said, the scooters are insanely popular.
Right. So why did we try bikes? Are we trying to, I get being on a health kick and trying to get people active after they eat at a restaurant and everything, bike it off. But come on. Is that a reason?
Well, but aren't the bikes motorized anyway?
Some are. I've never ridden one of them.
We're already up to break. We're supposed to talk about where we're going with this and share some ideas for what should come out of Plan Baton Rouge 3. I've got some ideas, by the way.
I do too.
Okay.
Does not include a bridge collapsing.
No. See, that would have been great. Like,
we've got a break.
Yeah,
Hit your break.
I'm trying to do math in my head to map out the time. Let's go ahead and take that break. He's Patrick Remion, host of the Patty G Show. We're talking Plan Baton Rouge 3. We're going to take a quick break, come back. We'll have 5 minutes on the back end to share some ideas next. Let me go let my next guest in.
Sounds good. Jeez Louise.
I think Brian just died out there.
My gosh.
He's holding that in, I guess, for a while.
I know. I guess so, man. Like,
Should we get the heart doctors to check on him?
when he comes back up, I mean, whew. Good morning.
Hey.
It's a Keurig. Oh. All right. Oh, we got a chair right here. Doc, come on in. Yeah. I'm sorry, I wasn't pointing at the walls. Come on in.
Just stand on the wall there.
Yeah.
Don't sit down, please.
I'm not that rude.
Hospitality. What's that? You all right, by the way? We John and I heard you kind of like let out a demon out there.
I got problems with my knees. I have arthritic knees. So when I sit here with my legs like bent like this for the longest time, when I get up, I gotta hobble a little bit. Kind of walk like Fred Sanford for a little bit.
Just let out the dad.
out.
Let out the dad grunt out there. Like
that reverse tension when you go down. I come upstairs all day long.
Got it.
Going downstairs, it's yeah.
Well, you know what they should? You should talk to them and get them to install one of those electric chairs like they have in nursing homes.
We have an elevator, Dick. I take the stairs because I'm fat.
You should ride a bike downtown.
I walk. Thank you very much.
That's the perfect
3 blocks over, get to North Boulevard. You know what? I gave it to you on the way in. I need to be able to take it right back.
Come on.
No, that's fair.
You gotta take it.
That's fair. It's good.
Otherwise, we can't volley.
That's right.
Whew.
What's going on in the Facebook chat? Oh, I don't want to look.
Can't be good.
Seattle scooters have actually some kind of an underground road system where you can only ride them. If you were on that strip, you can't ride them just anywhere. Very cool when I was in Seattle.
Yeah, they restrict it geographically based on where the scooter's at. And it's like a golf cart on a nicer golf course. It'll stop you if you go where you're not supposed to.
Oh my God. How much pavement would we eat?
No, it starts beeping and slows you down.
Oh,
It's not like an abrupt wheel lock, Brian.
That's what I'm here for, though, man.
Yeah, I want to see you ride and like think you're going, look back at the kids and just flip over the front of it.
When I was telling you all the bad things about Jazz Fest and then leading up to how much it's still awesome,
Yeah.
Byron says you left out the charm of the sun-baked porta potties. Bro, that's a different level of oven.
Oh. Something's getting baked in there. Don't you love it when someone leaves you a voicemail and they include their number?
They're over 50. Look, we had one phone in the kitchen. It just had a really long cord, so you can go in the dining room to have a private conversation.
Cords?
Shut up. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Got a couple minutes left with Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show. Patrick comes on about once a month to talk about just big picture things in Baton Rouge a little bit. And Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 is underway now. Public input is underway as of Wednesday night. Okay, we got 4 minutes, so let's just share ideas real quick. Downtown Baton Rouge, give me your top 3 ideas, just off the top of your head.
So we need something to do on the river.
Great idea.
We need...
What?
Oh. So it's tricky, right? You can't actually get in the river, as in some other places, okay? So you've got to have something that's either built on top of the water,
yeah,
or something that's built on the levee, but then you've got to take all those geographical concerns into place.
Right.
And so something that's attractive, that's not just love the art piece, but like, how else can we get there? 2, if you're going to have something on the river, you got to have places for people to park and or get to it.
Yeah.
And so downtown's plenty walkable, I think. I walk it a lot.
Downtown's very walkable.
It's very walkable, so I don't think there's a problem there necessarily.
Right.
What is a problem are the empty buildings. Yeah. So by driving people to do something that's entertaining on the river, giving them ample places to park should incentivize businesses to come in and expand their reach.
I'm going to give you my 3. You ready?
Hit it.
Jersey Shore style boardwalk.
Elaborate.
You got the little shops along the way, the t-shirt shop there, but it's just Jersey Shore style boardwalk is part of that accessible riverfront. Okay.
Okay.
Part 2. Here's where I lose everybody. Bring back Fun Fair Park, but put it downtown. Are you old enough to know Fun Fair Park?
You know the answer to that, Brian.
I'm not a Baton Rouge native. Fun Fair Park was long since closed when I moved here. But when I was growing up, my grandparents lived up here.
Okay.
When I was growing up, we'd go to my grandma and grandpa's house.
Yeah.
And they would take me and my sister to Fun Fair Park.
So what was Fun Fair Park for those that...
It was a very, very small, scaled-down version of an amusement park.
Okay.
It was, in hindsight, probably not worth the price of admission. But everybody loved it because it's what we had.
Yeah.
It's not something that's going to bring people in from out of town, but it's something that folks in town are going to utilize.
I like
Bring back Fun Fair Park. Think of like a midway at a carnival. Okay. Think about like Mercy Fair tonight. You got all the rides and stuff. Similar rides to that carnival ride style. And then you pair it up with all the unhealthy food, everything fried.
Well, that's easy. That's easy to do here.
Yeah.
That's really easy to do.
Yeah.
Here.
Put that all in one setting, boardwalk style.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. I think you got something that Baton Rougeans will go to.
Yeah. And I think we take one of the big abandoned buildings and make it like an interactive museum.
How about
like they have in St. Louis?
Oh, okay. So I had to leave we vacationed in St. Louis before. I had to leave. I had to come home for a hurricane coverage. Left the family there. They went to that interactive museum and loved it.
We went there without kids.
The only thing to do in downtown St. Louis. Everything else is an abandoned building.
Yeah, we went there without kids and it was great.
Other than the arch.
Yeah, but the arch, you get up there, you look at it, you take a picture. Woo.
Also,
ride the cart.
If you have any level of anxiety or claustrophobia, do not do the arch.
But they had a boat bar on the river.
See?
Now they had people that were like playing in the river, and us Louisianans were like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
But they don't have near the amount of undercurrent.
That's the part.
We
only got 30 seconds left, but that's one of the things that we have to keep in mind that other people don't have to deal with. Like when you talk about, oh, I want to have a river walk like San Antonio. You could change the river level in San Antonio with a good pee. That's not a river. We've got a river. That's a ditch.
In St. Louis, you can paddleboard on the river.
Right.
You can't paddleboard here.
I know. So
But you can just one time.
It's not apples to apples.
Yeah.
Deep fried or otherwise. He's Patrick Gramion, host of the Patty G Show. We will see you soon, brother. Always
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Hour 3 is next.
Yeah. They got like a whole business around paddleboard and kayak rentals. We can't do that here.
Renee, Funfair Park was fabulous. Did birthday parties there. Tiffany, Brian, yes! Funfair Park at the river.
All right.
I'm winning.
Where do we put it?
Huh?
Where do we put it?
Don't know yet. Don't know it. What's that little swampy area? Can we put anything on that swampy area?
Which swampy area?
Okay. Here.
Let's pull up a map. What swampy area?
This swampy area. All right. So there's this swampy area here. Can that grassy area there? You'd have to fill it in and like make it legit. But like,
have you seen what this looks like right now?
What's underwater
There's
right
no
now?
grass.
Yeah, but
so anything you build has to be at the levee height or higher.
But when you come back over this way, this is levee height right here.
Yeah.
So can we extend that out by about a block or two?
I think we can.
And if we can't, then let's go where it says Baton Rouge on the side right there. Nobody goes down there. Nobody goes past Florida.
We go down there now and again.
Do you?
But only when I'm at the office.
To do what?
Just bring the kids, let them run around.
You let your kids loose by the river?
Yeah. When it's low. Not when it's right now.
That's the beginning of a lifetime movie.
And what do you mean by
how long is the Kim Carver interview?
14 minutes. 14 minutes, 16 seconds.
Okay. We're gonna be pushed back by about 3 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, no,
All right.
you guys are a blast. I can sit here and listen to this all day.
Thank you. That's
It gets carried away at some point.
we have some fun, but it's every time we talk, it's like, where's Baton Rouge headed, and we end up sifting through all the garbage. We eventually find something. So, but if not there, the other side of the Queen, and this one is one I've been on forever. Other side of the Queen Casino, I want a minor league baseball park. There's room enough for it. You share parking with the Queen Casino because they never use that damn lot.
Then you could pull people from the casino to go to the park. Potentially charge a higher room rate if you have an overlook of the park.
Move. So while you work on getting a minor league baseball team, you've already got the summer league Rougarou team, and the number of people who want to go to Rougarou games but will not go to Goldsby Field, and you're only talking like less than a mile from Goldsby Field, but there's that perception of I'm not going to Plank Road. Minor league baseball. Let's go. Double A.
So I think we've got to solve something there.
What?
People's mental corridor blocks.
Okay, so yes, I completely agree, but you can't get there without you're either on Plank Road or you're coming off of Fuqua. Either way, it's not the best location. That being said, every Friday night, Catholic High plays their home games in Memorial Stadium, and nobody has a problem filling that place up on a Friday night. I don't know why a Friday in the fall is different than a Tuesday in the summer. But it is. Now, revamp the River Center and the Zydeco are going to be homeless. So, if we were there, so you got Memorial Stadium, Goldsby Field, and then the big empty parking lot part right there that is very rarely full. If you were to build out some kind of multiplex that could, or multi-sport that could put the ice in there, and you just move the Zydeco, get about 3,500 seats in there. Doable.
And then you make a kid travel league.
Even better.
Like
year round.
Yeah, that's the reason they do so well right there on Gardere. They're packed all the time because of kid travel ball.
Oh, traction.
Traction.
Yeah, that's baseball though.
I know, but how do you get other sports to that caliber for kids?
I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know. You can't. Nobody plays pickup hockey in Louisiana.
Okay.
The
So,
University lakes don't freeze over.
yeah.
So
So then, do we just drop that sport altogether and focus on
no,
something else?
because 3,500 people show up per game to see the Zydeco play, so it's profitable.
3,500
Thereabouts.
every game?
Thereabouts. On average.
Okay. Is it profitable because people have a draw towards hockey, or is it profitable because it gave them something to do that night?
It gave them something to do that night. They like watching people fight. They're not very good at hockey. Oh, hey, Facebook, we got a pre-recorded interview coming your way, so that's gonna play, and my voice is gonna disappear. Well, my voice is in the interview too. But you know what I mean. Just jump straight to it. I don't want to eat up any more of any more of the clock.
So you don't want the bumper. You want a data cover.
Go right, just a standard bumper. Go right into it.
So I am moving my studio.
Where to?
Main building. Same building I'm in.
What floor? Time to check back in on the legislative session. There is a lot going on as week 3 wraps up. Bills that are moving forward, one of them, HB 570. This is the App Store Accountability Act. Representative Kim Carver's put this out here before, and he's back at it again. He joins us now. Representative Carver, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, Brian. How are you?
I am doing very well as well. A lot of moving parts, especially for a fiscal session. I feel like y'all have been busy on a lot of extracurriculars, not just the budget.
Well, it has felt that way to us as well. A lot of movement on insurance, as you know. I think really the first 3 weeks were dominated by moving a significant insurance package through the House of Representatives, but lots of important bills on other things moving through too, outside of, budget and fiscal issues.
Yes, and one of those is what we're here to talk about today, the App Store Accountability Act. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, this is a measure to just really try to protect kids online, Brian. This is a continuation of some work that I started in the last session with a bill called HB HB 577 that prohibited the collection and the sale of minors' data on social media for the purposes of targeted advertising. This App Store Accountability Act was sort of a portion of that bill last year. We had amended my social media bill in House Commerce last year. It passed House Commerce. It passed the House. But we had to remove that amendment over on the Senate side for the bill to keep going. And I committed to everybody who had supported that bill that we would bring it back this year in a standalone fashion. And so that's what the bill is about. It says, that Apple and Google, as the owners of the App Store, are really the front porch of the digital world where minors, enter that digital space. And we don't think that minors should be treated like adults there. There are lots of dangerous apps that serve up content that is not appropriate for minors. And so we want app stores to be the first stop where parental consent, where parental controls exist, and where age verification happens, so that before kids are able to download apps, everybody in the space, parents, big tech, and app developers, all are aware that these users are minors, and their experience in the digital space should be different than those for adults.
We're talking with State Representative Kim Carver about the App Store Accountability Act. So how would this work? How would we put up, virtual walls around the state to make sure that the age requirement is viable here, when it might not be next door?
Yeah, very interesting point. Right now, without a federal standard, states are kind of having to wade into this. And you bring up a very valid point. No one wants there to be 50 different standards. It would be nice if we had a national standard, but I think states are not willing to wait on Washington, that by and large doesn't work quickly. As you and over the years has not been able to really work hardly at all to get bills passed. The states are saying we're not going to wait on Washington to protect our kids. We're going to move into the space and do it ourselves. I think we've seen this legislation introduced in over a dozen states this last year. It just passed in Utah and was signed by their governor. It's very close to passage in neighboring Texas. I would like to add Louisiana to that number. It sends a signal to big tech to say, we're gonna do what's right by kids. We're gonna empower parents to juggle this very difficult space to protect their kids. And it says to Washington, it's time for Washington to look at this. It's time, to your point, I understand the frustration that big tech would have in having to do something different in every single state. So until we have a federal standard, that's going to be what happens because states are not going to wait in order to protect kids.
Yeah, and Utah is actually where I was going because you, if we're being completely honest, you didn't keep your eyes on your own paper for this one. You kind of looked over to see what Utah did because if they're already getting it right, why wouldn't we just follow their lead?
Well, there's a lot of that in this process. You kind of look at other states and you can kind of, when you do that, you can kind of pick the things that you like and the things that have worked, maybe things that have withstood, constitutional muster and challenges. And Utah's model was a strong one. And so we used that sort of as the roadmap for our effort here in Louisiana.
We've got State Representative Kim Carver with us talking about the App Store Accountability Act. Now, when it comes to putting up those virtual walls around the state, we've seen it happen with individual apps. Transferring that to the App Store, is it the same technology that works there? Because I know, just as an example, if I try to hop on my DraftKings app where I shouldn't, it shuts me down quickly. But going to the App Store itself, does it work the same?
Well, the way we are proposing it would. There are lots of various commercially available methods and solutions for doing age verification, and different apps do it different ways. It's sort of twofold. Apple and Google are the primary owners of app stores. I think they have combined like 95% of the market as far as minors who have phones in their hand, and they already collect a lot of this data. If parents will know this who have set up family sharing plans on either Google or Apple's app stores. And you have to enter this information. You have to enter the profiles of the users and their age and whatnot. And so then the app stores, what we're asking them to do is to actually, do age verification so that as they move through, they never have the ability to download an app that they shouldn't have access to, that's not a content that's appropriate and rated for them, but also that parents have the ability to sign off on that. When you download an app, it's almost a commercial transaction, Brian. You're signing an inordinate amount of signing off on an inordinate lengthy terms and conditions, that include sometimes it's legal language about arbitration and jury selection and choice of venue and indemnification. And all of these are like legal contracts that we're asking sometimes 13 and 14-year-olds to sign off on. And a lot of them have financial responsibilities, right? There's a cost sometimes to the subscription to the app or in-app purchases. And, from just our basic commercial and contracting regulations, minors can't enter into a contract. And so there's a lot of reasons why we need to equip parents to be able to better manage this for minors. We, in our country, and you've read a lot about it, there's sort of a mental health crisis. And I think it's largely been fueled by this new kind of online world that we live in, cyberbullying, isolation, depression, and unfortunately, even suicide have been sort of at all-time highs. And all of that has been correlated with social media and the access that kids have had to it over the last, decade or so. And in addition to that, there have been horrific stories about grooming and abuse and just predators that don't have kids' best interest in mind, much less content that's inappropriate for kids, either of a sexual nature or gratuitous violence, that we want to say, look, we want their experience online to be healthy, and we want parents to know what kids are accessing. And a way to do that is to have the very best innovators on our planet, Apple and Google, to have some say in it, right? They've developed this wonderful technology. There's no reason that they shouldn't be able to do it in order to lead the way on protecting kids.
We got State Representative Kim Carver with us for just a couple more minutes, talking about the App Store Accountability Act. Representative Carter, we got to talk man to man here. You're a parent. I'm a parent. This is a parent's job.
It is.
This bill, as I've read through it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this doesn't feel like you're stepping in the parent's place. This feels more like an assist. Am I?
Exactly right. And Brian, I've got 3 basically teenage daughters, and I say basically because my youngest is 12, so she's kind of right there. They all have devices, right? They have phones, they have tablets, they have Chromebooks that are issued from school, and so they're in the digital space all the time. They also have grown up with it, right? Like they're digitally native. I'm not. I got my first cell phone after I graduated college and had my first job, and so we've been more slow adapters to it. But these are tools that help parents navigate this space, not to replace their good parenting. And I would tell you, as a parent that cares about this deeply with 3 kids, it's very difficult to manage. And my wife and I are engaged, active, educated, resourced, on-duty parents. We're looking for more tools. I think most parents are. And again, this is another great service that Apple and Google could provide to parents all over the planet. Be leaders in this space. Help parents do this better. Help parents make good choices for their families, for their kids, by giving them some tools in order to do it.
Well, because it also helps the kids with that on-ramp. I mean, look, when you were growing up, when I was growing up, you looked out for the conversion van with no windows and the guy offering candy. That's not what we face today with the kids. So they need the on-ramp to be able to get acclimated to this world as well without being hit at every single turn.
It's a great point, Brian. We had a young man that was part of the Youth Legislative Advisory Council in Louisiana come down to testify on this bill when we introduced it earlier this week. And he's a student at Princeton now, and he said, I want and my friends want guardrails on this space. Kids still want to know what the borders are, what the boundaries are, so that they know that they're safe. There's inherent felt safety. There's strength in that for kids. It's developmentally appropriate. And to date, Apple and Google have not had a very large role in that. And it's sort of been pushed to the individual apps. Well, if you think about a kid, they'll have access to 30, 35, 40 apps. That's a lot of responsibility that we're asking kids and parents to have to vet out each one. Are my kids safe on this? Are they going to be served up content that's appropriate to them? Are they in danger of being approached by strangers and, the predators that are in the world looking for opportunities to prey on our most vulnerable? And this is just an opportunity for Google and Apple and all of tech to come together and say, we're going to make this a priority. We're going to help parents, do and manage this space better. And we're going to make caring and doing right by kids a priority.
Now, I wouldn't imagine you're getting support from Apple or Google, but how have they responded to the other states that have adopted similar bills? I mean, they're obviously still willing to, play nice and work with the law after it's passed.
Well, they are, and I would tell you this: they have been open and they've come to the table with some ideas, and that is actually why on Monday we introduced the bill and then we voluntarily deferred it for a week, so that we could maybe find that balance and try to thread the needle. That a lot of people would say we want everybody to come together and work together to perfect the bill. I'm interested in doing that, but the reality is what it really is we all might need to bleed a little. We might all have to hurt a little bit to know that we kind of are over the target. And I would tell you, Google and Apple and the apps that have been involved and the parent groups have all come together this week to kind of work on that. We're not there yet, but I'm hoping that by the time we run the bill on Monday, and I gave my commitment to the committee that I would defer it, but I would only be back to run a bill that protected kids. We weren't going to take the teeth out. We weren't going to water it down. And if big tech and the apps and everybody involved wanted to come help do that, I'm open and pragmatic to doing that, and we'll give them the opportunity. I like where we are right now. I like where we're headed.
And we will check in to make sure we're still headed in the same direction as this bill moves forward. He is State Representative Kim Carver. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Absolutely, Brian. Best to you and your listeners.
We're going to blow past 8:30 by a minute or two. There's no way this conversation happens in less than 10 minutes. Where are you from?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Really?
Born and raised, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our mics are on for Facebook.
Oh,
Or they
beautiful.
Should be now.
Hey, guys.
Now that we're in break. Now that the recorded stuff's over with. Damn it, Tim. Sorry. Didn't bring one. Asshole. My daughter's graduating from St. Joseph's Academy, and today is the senior mass. And there's like a million different senior things to do, and we have to be at different levels of attire for all of them. So I asked, do you get dressed up for the senior mass? And the guy I was texting who's had other kids already graduate high school.
Gotcha.
Like, I'm dressing like I dress for work. This is what he told me last night. And he tells me the text just now. Bring a sport coat, though. Thanks.
You guys don't wear sport coats in the studio as a standard?
It's rare that I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt on a Friday. Normally, it's a station polo on a Friday.
Yep. Just throw that hat on over there, man. You should be good.
So
fancy up the outfit.
Patrick, who was in here,
Yeah.
he hosts a podcast that like just celebrates small business or celebrates different business people and whatnot. It's called the Petty G Show. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
He had this company that makes all these fancy hats. So every year he holds an annual party for all of his guests. And they had a hat station, so you could like get your own personal hat made.
Okay.
So I had that one made for my wife.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Like you guys' music choice too.
That's all, John. 821 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I'm letting you know now, John, we're running long in this segment because we've run long in every segment so far, and I'm not shorting Dr. Jacob May any of his time. Number one, because he's totally jacked. And number two, because this is an important conversation to have. We've got Dr. Jacob May in from the Pennington Biomedical Research Center. How are you, man?
I'm doing wonderful. Just happy to be here and chat nutrition with everyone.
It's important that we talk nutrition because we were talking about throughout the calendar year, you go from, all right, let's start off with January is the back end of the holiday season. We go from the holidays to Mardi Gras, from Mardi Gras to crawfish, from crawfish to grilling season, from grilling season to tailgate season, from tailgate season right back into the holiday season. There is no break for us in Louisiana.
Yeah, you guys are unique down here, man. That is for sure.
Absolutely. So how do we manage? How do we maintain? You run the Mitochondrial Energetics and Nutrition Utilization Lab at the Pennington Biomedical Research Center. Do you lose weight because the name is such a mouthful?
Well, I like to shorten it to the acronym, which is just Menu Lab.
Menu Lab,
which
all
makes
right.
it a little easier to handle.
Okay. What goes on at the Menu Lab?
So we're very interested in how diet can impact health and disease, and how every individual can have a form-fitted diet for them that helps their personal health and wellness goals.
I want to talk. Okay, that's where this conversation is going to go because I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who have run into the problem of I tried this diet, I tried that diet, I got nowhere. Why? Why am I failing? It might not be the case of I'm failing. It might be the case that you're just not partnered the right way. But before that, I want to dive into your background a little bit.
Sure.
What brought you to Pennington?
So I'm a nutrition researcher. I was at the Cleveland Clinic, but Pennington Biomedical is the mecca for doing nutrition research. If you want to be the best of the best in nutrition research, you come to Pennington to do it. So I was born and raised in Cleveland, got a whole family there, but when an opportunity came up at Pennington, I mean, it was a no-brainer.
That's it. So I asked you that question very specifically, not knowing what your answer would be, but hoping it was going to be that. Because when we live here in Baton Rouge, we see Pennington over in the corner of Perkins and Kenilworth, and it's just like this giant building that's over there. What goes on behind those doors, I don't know. Is it the next season of Stranger Things? Maybe. But really, when you broaden out and ask anybody else around the world, it's this unbelievable gem.
Yeah, dead on.
So, yeah, the level of appreciation we don't have for our own things, I don't know. That's one of my soapboxes.
Yeah, no, and I'm right with you. There's name recognition to the Cleveland Clinic where I was at. There's name recognition to Harvard and the Mayo Clinic. But for nutrition and the impact of nutrition on health and disease, Pennington is the name.
100%. 100%. We got Dr. Jacob May and from the Menu Lab. All right, let's talk about specialization when it comes to a diet. What makes things go wrong?
Yeah, it's so crazy. And, what we're looking at now is that one diet doesn't fit everybody. There needs to be an individualization of those diet approaches to each person. If we think about the extremes, this concept is easy to understand, right? Like, let's take a 90-year-old woman that's 100 pounds, right? You can easily understand why she would have different nutrition and exercise needs than these monsters that are 18, 19-year-olds playing on the LSU football team, right? Dramatically different physiques. But what we're finding out now is that just because you have the same age, sex, height, weight, right? Even with that, you can have individual nutrition needs. So the same 40-year-old that's 200 pounds may have different nutrition needs than another 40-year-old that's 200 pounds. And so that's what we're trying to figure out. How can we make the best diet fit for each individual person?
So how do we crack that code? What goes into figuring out what your needs are?
Yeah, the thing to look at there is, what are your health and wellness goals, right? So if you are an otherwise healthy person, maybe your goal is preventing disease. So you need diets that are going to keep you energized and make sure that you don't go down a route of disease progression, whether that's diabetes or blood pressure. That's very different than someone that has high blood pressure currently. You have different nutrition needs because your physiology has high blood pressure. We need nutrition to bring that blood pressure down.
Okay.
So you're going to have different nutrition approaches based on what your health and wellness goals are.
How much of this is genetics? How much of this is trained into us based off of our current habits?
Boy, if I could give you a percentage, I would be the multimillionaire sitting here. But it's all of it, right? We take measures from your blood. We take into account your genetics. We take into account your lifestyle. Everyone has different movement just throughout their day-to-day habits, let alone structured exercise. And all of that comes into play when figuring out what exact nutrition plan is going to be the best for you as an individual.
As far as participation is concerned, how do folks, like, if I'm sure there are people that are, it's too late now for this summer if you want to look good at the beach or whatever, but in mapping out to get where you want to be, how do you get folks motivated to participate?
I think the first thing to do is kind of reframe how we typically think about diets and our health. The classic approach has been, hey, I want to use a diet for 10 weeks to have this goal, right? I want to lose weight for a wedding or something or other. What we're finding now is that, look, life goes on. Life is more than 10 weeks. Life is not just a year, it's years and decades and beyond.
Yeah.
And so now it's finding, okay, what small changes can we make on a daily basis that add up over time? You can think of it like compound interest, right? Compound interest, very, very small, but over years and decades has a massive effect on your bank account. Same thing with nutrition goals. Small things over time can have a massive effect on your health.
Well, and the flip side of that is, or the backup to that is, small change is easier to adhere to.
Absolutely.
And you would reduce your risk of failure because you're not doing something that's unbelievably drastic. Now, that being said, sticking with that, we got to move over to the GLP, the semaglutides, the tirzepatides, and all that stuff. Because when you say, I want to go on a 10-week diet, once that 10-week diet is over with, you're back in the same mental mind frame. Your body is doing the same things that it did 10 weeks ago. You're just changing how you take things in. The semaglutide trend, this whole the shots that everybody's in love with right now, is this a fad? Is this a phase?
No, these are groundbreaking medicines that are transforming our approach to obesity.
Okay.
Now, I want to dichotomize this a little bit, because at Pennington, we focus on a food as medicine approach, which means we can use nutrition to optimize our health and wellness. Some people have a biological issue inside their body that a medication can help them do that better. Meaning, if you take a person that, let's just say, they went through 10 years of unhealthy lifestyle. They weren't focusing on nutrition. They weren't focusing on exercise. They gained a bunch of weight. Okay, we can give them a nutrition plan and they can adjust to it perfectly. They don't have a biological underlying factor that's preventing them from making that change. Other people have a biology that is different. It's driving them to eat more food. It's driving them to not exercise. And when you provide medications to address that underlying biology, well, now they can better adhere to the nutrition goals. Now we can give them a nutrition plan and they can actually enact that better because they don't have biological drivers subconsciously telling them to do certain things.
When you talk about those biological drivers, and we got a couple minutes left with Dr. Jacob May from the Menu Lab over at Pennington. When you talk about those biological drivers, how hard is it to diagnose what is built in as a human versus what has been created? You and I were talking during the break.
Oh, yeah.
One of my biggest problems is eating when I'm tired. Eating when I'm tired, just for that little boost to give me a little more energy to get me through my day. How much is developed over time, and how hard is it to diagnose that?
That is a key question, right? The easy answer is we don't know. You have to take it on an individual basis. Just like we can use diet on an individual basis, we have to do the same thing for medications where if you work with someone, I had mentioned before, working with a registered dietitian, they can work with you over time and then they can help you better understand, look, maybe I do need something like a medication. Typically, I run a private practice. When I work with someone, we always focus on nutrition first. If I get to 6 months or a year and people aren't seeing effective results, then we start saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to consider other approaches like medications to help us better adhere to these nutrition goals.
Okay. Fighting out of it, there's plateaus along the way. There's peaks and valleys along the way. I want to go back to the dietitian part of this because, look, who doesn't have a financial advisor, right? Why not have the same thing when it comes to what's going on inside your body, not just inside your bank account? Talk about the benefits of leaning on a professional to get you through all the roadblocks.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just like you said, you have a financial advisor for your finances. Everyone sees a physician for their overall health. You should see a dietitian for your nutrition. They can help you address barriers. They can help you understand what foods are going to be better for you to eat. They can help you understand whether you should do something like intermittent fasting, whether that fits in your lifestyle or not. And so having a professional there to help you go through those day-to-day barriers and struggles and just bounce ideas off of us and say, hey, should I try this? They can help you not only understand whether you should try something, but how to actually enact that and then sustain those habit changes. For additional support, we actually at Pennington, we have this small shift squad where it's a monthly newsletter we send out. And it's all about what you said before, building those small habits that are very sustainable over time. You can go to pbrc.edu/small shifts to sign up, and we can give you that material to be able to say, hey, you know what? I should work on walking for 10 minutes every day as a first step. I should pick up a fresh fruit, pick up a fresh vegetable and eat it every day as a first step. And that will help you create these large scale health and wellness changes that you're looking for.
What do you find along the way are some of the bigger hindrances that keep people from their goals?
It's tough. It's so many things. I think the food environment is a very tough one. We walk around all day. We see ads. We see the fast food places everywhere. We have the smells that are all driving us to kind of eat these high calorie items. If you're able to understand that everything out there is really pushing you towards eating more, then you can help better address that. But it starts with awareness of our food environment.
A big part of the path along the way is collecting data and an individual data because everybody is unique. When it comes to that, your output's only as good as your input. How hard is it to get accurate data from people who are, let's just say, less than honest with their own accountability?
100%. So now we have a lot of items that you can be used in the telehealth world, for example, where you can actually collect the data for yourself at home. We have at-home blood pressure monitors. We have these continuous glucose monitors where it's taking away from self-reporting and it's putting hard quantitative numbers on data to help you better address how diet is impacting your health and helping you identify where you can make changes and how that can just kind of help you benefit further from your diet plan.
we're long right now, but I kind of want to do one more thing before we get you out of here.
Sure, let's go for it.
Can we do a little quick hit quiz on the diets that are out there?
Oh yeah,
some of the more popular ones.
Okay, this is gonna be fun. All right,
you just give me a yes or no, beneficial or not, and I know a lot of this is gonna be based off of individual people.
Sure,
but carnivore diet.
Okay, I'm actually published on this. As a blanket, I would say no. If you're going to work with it, use a dietitian. They can help you with the best one.
Intermittent fasting.
I would say in general, yes. I'd say try it out. If it works for you, go.
Dash diet.
Dash diet, the number one overall. If you want health and wellness, reduce your blood pressure. I mean, that was generated at Pennington. We have the dietitians there to help make it. Oh my goodness.
Right,
Dash diet.
That was kind of a homer question. Ideal protein, which is different than carnivore, but similar, but ideal protein.
Yeah, I think anytime you focus on protein, that's a thumbs up.
Okay. What's the one that I'm forgetting? There's one that I'm forgetting.
Ketogenic is really big
That's
right now.
The one.
Okay, there we go. I would say again, ketogenic can be beneficial in many people. Make sure you work with the dietitian. Just like carnivore, there's some specifics that can really change it from healthy to unhealthy. Make sure you work with the dietitian.
Now, getting off the diets, which thank you for doing that. And the dash diet was kind of a homer question. I knew that one going in. But let's talk about the effects of exercise and how they affect everything else along the way. Because different doctors will say exercise has different effects or no effect at all when it comes to weight loss, weight maintenance, and the like. Where do you factor that into the equation?
When it's weight loss per se, I would say exercise does not have a major effect, but there's so many other beneficial effects of exercise. You're talking about longevity, making sure you can be mobile, keeping your cardiovascular health good, so you're not at risk for high blood pressure or cardiovascular disease. So even though I don't view exercise as a weight loss specific tool, it is an overall health and wellness juggernaut.
Last one before we get you out of here, and this is going to be for those that are finally going to want to get off the couch. Where can they go to find you? Where can they go to find help with Pennington? Where do they need to head?
Start at pbrc.edu. If you do the / small shifts, you'll be targeted to our kind of public facing health and wellness approaches. Yeah, I love talking about this stuff. Anyone out there, if you want to shoot me an email, I am just jacob.may@pbrc.edu. It is my favorite thing to chat health and nutrition, so feel free to shoot me an email.
We're not done with the conversation, but we are out of time for today. But you're coming back on.
Absolutely.
This was way too good. He is Dr. Jacob May from Pennington. Thank you so much for the time.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Quick break. We ran long. We missed ABC News. I don't care. Local news, traffic, weather. We'll continue next. That was freaking fantastic.
Hey, that was a blast, man.
Always. That was so good. Yeah, and I'm gonna let Joe and them know you need to be in the rotation. That was.
Oh yeah, no,
so.
I had a blast, and I was actually asking them how much the ads and whatnot are on here because I feel like Pennington should sponsor us to have their name out there, or even with my press. Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like they can do more. I don't know what the budget is.
Yeah.
But it's everything else. When you're Pennington, you have to. How much of your budget goes into research? Yeah. And so I get it. I'm happy to get what I get out of them.
Yeah.
But if there's room for more, I'm here.
Yeah. What is the cost per segment of it? Do you know?
Okay. But that's. I don't know if they even come to ads. I think it just comes with the monthly segment. Yeah. So, but yeah. I mean, I know it doesn't show, but I work out with and yeah, I'm 80% of the time really good. Yeah, 20%. It's crazy how much you can make. You can make a good decision 99% of the time through the day, and then it's that one decision that all of a sudden that's 2,000 calories you don't even know about. I do that with Oreo cookies. I can't buy boxes of Oreo cookies anymore because I will. And I'm a nutrition expert. I'm father. There's always next. Yeah, dude, I got 2 kids. Oh, you know what we didn't get into? We didn't get into generational. Generation, I was raised to finish there's stars and kids across the world. You finish this on your plate. Yeah. Like that. All the training. Yeah. All the training. But hey, it was an absolute pleasure, man. Love having you guys. Yeah. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Yeah. All right. Take care. At the Keurig. Right here.
You know what?
All right, so we got a crawfish bowl tomorrow. Okay, which is awesome because I just got done talking about health. So, still you put sodium in beer now. Oh no! Yes, sir. Cayenne's good for you, though. Oh. All right. So it'll be about a 7-minute or so segment.
Okay.
Can I get a name for you? I'm sorry.
Brian Adams, BrianAdams.
Yeah.
A series on it. Like, how did that happen?
Oh,
All I do is say his name.
don't know.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
So we're gonna start with the what does the Southern University Home Chapter do?
Okay.
So,
Yeah, it's okay.
And then we'll get to the Crawfish Boil and Music Festival.
Okay.
After that, and then just kind of bring it back around to the university of as a whole. I mean,
Okay.
where are we growing? Where do we need help?
Okay.
Because I'm sure that'll tie back into what y'all do from the
just
start. So.
Okay.
There's actually a decent bit of construction going on campus right now.
Yep, quite a few buildings coming up. We
I was
have
up there a couple weeks ago. My daughter was trying out for an AAU basketball team, and
Ah.
the rec center
Mhm.
was where the tryouts were.
Yeah. They're building the construction up there is the new police department. It's going to be up there, and then
I thought there was a science building that's going up too. Though.
there's a new science building coming
Yeah.
up also, and that's when you're coming up that main street right before you sort of go down the hill to go to the rec center. That's where it's a STEM building.
That's what it was. Yep.
Yep. Cool. And then at the front of campus, it's a new innovation, welcoming center and innovation center. That'll be at the right before the guard shack when you enter campus.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, time to get a look at your forecast. Here's what we've got going on today. There is a pretty significant chance of rain, 70% chance of rain today. It's just a matter of when is it going to hit. I'm looking at the hour by hour, which I've never been right on before, and it's looking like the early afternoon. Afternoon into early evening hours is when we're going to see the bulk of it. Around 4 p.m. is when our chance of rain is its highest. It will scale off as the evening wears on. Now, overnight low tonight gets down to 64. Tomorrow we're going to top out at 80. There's another 40% chance of rain tomorrow. You might catch some showers in the overnight hours, and then again early afternoon, like noon to 1 p.m. tomorrow, up in that range. Overnight low on Saturday will dip down into the mid 50s, which will be nice. We'll top out at 81 on Sunday, back in the 50s Sunday night into Monday, and then we're low 80s to start off next week with a pretty significant chance of rain every day next week. Right now, sunny skies, 75 in downtown Baton Rouge. $8:43 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right, so we went from talking health and nutrition to now let's talk about a crawfish boil coming up tomorrow, the 11th annual Crawfish Boil and Music Festival going on out at Southern University for the Southern University Home Chapter. Joining us now is Brian Adams. Not that Brian Adams. He spells his name right with an I. Brian Adams, he's the president of the Southern University Home Chapter. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Doing great. Excellent. Excited to be here.
Glad to have you on. Glad to be talking about this. This is one of those this is the best time of year in Louisiana. There's so much going on. There's like Jazz Fest is down the road. Y'all's annual Crawfish Boil and Music Festival coming up tomorrow. There's 3 different Catholic schools have their fairs going on this weekend. It's like there's no reason not to be outside enjoying where we are in this place and time.
before we get to the humidity. Perfect time of year.
I wasn't going to bring that up. All right. The Southern University Home Chapter. Who are y'all? What's your mission?
Well, what the Southern University Home Chapter is, it's alums from Southern University. I would say about 90 to 95% of our alums are from East Baton Rouge Parish, or live in East Baton Rouge Parish. We have about 350 alums.
Okay.
So what we do is, activities to support the university and also to support the students. So, for instance, with our crawfish boil, it's a fundraiser for scholarships for students. We give scholarships to students who are attending schools in East Baton Rouge Parish.
Oh, okay. So keeping them home, basically.
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome. How many the goal wise? How many are y'all looking for?
This year, we're looking to give between $20,000 to $30,000 in scholarships to probably 15 to 25 students.
Okay.
And we do that pretty much every year. What we also then try to do is be a support mechanism for those students. So it's not only here the scholarship dollars, but if we can connect you with someone who is in a field related to what you want to major in. You want to major in nursing. Can we connect you to an alum who's a nurse to sort of serve as a mentor or kind of talk you through the process? Also, can we help you get through some of the challenges you might face on campus?
Mm-hmm.
Some of our students are first generation college students.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, you need help getting through the enrollment process or through the admissions process. How can we help you get through that process? We also then do things during the year. So, for instance, in August, when freshmen move on campus, they'll start moving in at 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll be out there at 5 in the morning, giving them water, giving them snacks, helping them move their stuff into campus. And I joke with friends all the time and say it's amazing to see how some of our freshmen want to move a 3-bedroom house into a 10 by 10 dorm room. But we help them through that process and they get it all in.
How much of that process is no, send it back?
No, they typically get it all in.
We've got Brian Adams in with us. He's the president of the Southern University Home Chapter. We'll pivot over to this tomorrow's crawfish boil in just a little bit, but I want to ask you a couple more things about Southern. There's a lot of construction going on campus right now. A lot of really good things happening on Southern University's campus. Where do y'all need the most help? Where do y'all need, like, what when you're trying to get from one level to another of the impact of the university on Baton Rouge and on Louisiana for that matter? Where do y'all see yourself headed?
Well, being sort of the president of the alum, I don't speak on behalf of the university, but I can speak on behalf of the things that we do to support the university. We see the university needing support with helping with students, right?
Okay.
Being the mentor for those students, even not just sort of when they move in, but during the regular semester, right? There may be times when we go in and we can talk to students one-on-one. We can help students with their resumes. We can help students prepare for job interviews. So our big focus really is how do we help support the students at the university? And we believe through that support, it will help with retention.
Mm-hmm.
It will help with creating that sense of community. Last year when we helped with the freshman move-in day, because we will talk with the parents who are moving their students, first-time students into the dorms. So these are first-time freshmen, their first time on campus, first time moving away from home. And we encountered parents from 26 different states last year. And those parents are really, when they see sort of our involvement and our talking with them, a lot of them walk away saying, I was a little uncomfortable bringing my child so far away from home, but I feel really good about it now because I feel that there's a community here that's going to support my scholar. So we try to create that sense of community, not just for the students, but also for the parents.
You mentioned retention in there. What's important to college freshmen today?
Not being a college freshman, I'll tell you what
but you interact with.
I interact with, but I think what's important is that sense of community.
Yeah.
Right. So for instance, if you have moved here from California, and in fact, I'm talking with a parent whose son will be coming to Southern University from California in the fall. She has 3 children. She's never been to Louisiana. Her son has never been to Louisiana. So they're going to come because this is where he wants to go. She said her other 2 children went to school in California. he wants to come to Southern. And she said, I'm going to support that. So I asked, I said, have you guys been to Louisiana? No, we've never been to Louisiana. So I spoke with her on the phone probably for about an hour, right? We were talking and just saying, okay, when you get here, right, I'll be here. I'll be waiting for you guys. We'll be a support. You're going to be in California. If you're calling him and you can't reach him, call me. I'll go on campus. I'll find him. Your mama wants to talk to you. Call her. So I think what's important for the parents and also for the students is that sense of belonging, feeling like there are people here that can support me, people here who care for me.
So as a parent of a high school senior, I could tell you that kind of personal touch goes a long way.
Right.
Goes a very, very long way. So supporting that personal touch is important, and that comes along with fundraisers like tomorrow. The 11th Annual Crawfish Boil and Music Festival. Tell us all about it.
Well, it's going to be a fun time. We're going to have somewhere between 600 to 700 people out there. And I heard from the weather forecast, it may rain around noon tomorrow, but we're going to be in the parking lot on the east side of the stadium. So if it rains, we're going to go underneath the stadium. About 2 years ago, we had the same thing happen where it rained all day.
Okay.
But we were able to have the festival underneath the stadium. You got wet getting underneath the stadium, but once you were underneath the stadium, there's no water. We're going to have a DJ Khaled. We're going to have a band, OMT band. We have strong support from the community. Louisiana Seafood is a very strong supporter. We have Coca-Cola, who's a strong supporter. Lamar Advertising is a strong supporter. We have the Southern University Athletics, the Southern University System, strong supporters. So we get strong support from the business community as well as from the community who will come out and support our efforts.
And the mission and the efforts are obviously very, very worthwhile. And oh, by the way, the price tag's pretty affordable as well.
Yes, it is $35. And you have a choice. If you don't eat crawfish, you can have fried catfish.
Hey now. Okay. So add that on the back end as well. The 11th Annual Crawfish Boil and Musical Festival is tomorrow, noon to 4 p.m. Well, I tell you what, when we post this on demand, when we post this conversation on demand, we'll put the link directly to the tickets page.
Oh, thank
right
you.
in the link. So tickets $35 a piece, and you can get them through the link either over at Southern University suhomechapter.org is the main page, but we'll send you right to the tickets page for tomorrow's Crawfish Boil. About 600 to 700 people.
Yeah.
That's strong.
We always have a pretty good time out there. You have music playing pretty much the whole time, and it's a family event. People will, on sunny days, they'll bring out tents and set up tents. Some people will be underneath the stadium if they don't bring tents. So we'll have a great time.
We have the discussion so often about retention, about the brain drain, about keeping our best and brightest right here in Baton Rouge and bringing the best and brightest from around the world as well. This lends towards that mission. He's Brian Adams, president of the Southern University Home Chapter. Thank you so much for a couple minutes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. 8:52 at Talk 107.3 FM. We'll take a quick break, come back, close it out next. Good to go?
That was relatively painless.
I try to make it easy.
Thank you.
Because, you know, if there would have been any pain at all, then I know Judy's coming back to me. And I don't need that in my life.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Good luck tomorrow. Y'all have fun.
Thank you. Have a good day.
We're not talking about anything serious here. I'm going to do my Vex European spot, and then you want to talk Jazz Fest? Oh my God! Tomorrow just reeks of white girl wasted.
So is Pearl Jam playing tonight?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
All right. I don't know what to do with this mustache.
Okay.
Oh. 857 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. About to get out of here in just a little bit. Got to remind you about the folks over at Vex European, VEX, VexEuropean.com. That's V as in Vinny. It's Vinny's place over there. Actually, Vex, it used to be Vinny's Exotics. That's where you get Vex European from. Been in business for over a decade, y'all. Celebrating a decade in business of, what do? Well, they service European vehicles. They are expert level based off of your vehicle type, your make of vehicle. Mercedes, BMW, Land Rover. You'll be paired with a Mercedes, a BMW, a Land Rover Tech. Jaguar, Audi. You're matched up with someone who knows your make of vehicle, not just someone with general mechanical knowledge, like Mona Lisa Vito. No, we're talking about somebody who knows your car specifically. Check them out online at VexEuropean.com. Go ahead and make an appointment. If you drive a European vehicle, I can't recommend them enough. I use them myself. VexEuropean.com. Oh, John, I don't want to start anything else. We're just done for the week, man.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a good show today, right?
Very good show
so
today.
good.
It's a lot of energy in today's show.
Yeah.
I didn't think today's show would have a whole lot of energy because I came in here dragging in. I mean, I came in here like after last night's softball game,
right?
12-9, the Tigers lose. By the way, they'll be back at it tonight, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. But I came in here after a 3-hour and 7-minute softball game last night.
Ooh, that's tough, man. That's tough.
Okay, 3 hours for a baseball game. You go in knowing what you're getting, right?
Right. Of course.
Softball, I'm expecting it to be just shy of 2. Just shy of 2 hours. In and out. Let's go. Shortest softball game I worked this year was 1 hour and 23 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, start to finish. All right. So just shy of 2.
So you weren't
is the
expecting
goal. No, sir.
Man.
I was not expecting 21 runs. I was not expecting 21 walks. I was not expecting 25 left on base. I was not expecting 7 pitching changes.
Oof.
But now it's time for the weekend.
It is.
You got Jazz Fest going on down in New Orleans. So Patty G was asking, like, why are you going to Jazz Fest if you're not going? It's like, man, this is the stage of life, buddy. You know, this is like the kids are running around the school fair. There's nothing better than a school fair.
Right.
I'm not like, and look, they're going to have a great time at Southern tomorrow for the Crawfish Bowl. Absolutely.
Of course.
But I will be roaming around Marquette Avenue, all around the Mercy football field. That's where I'm going to be. Tonight, Pants Party's going to be out there. Little, they're a great party band. A lot of hip hop music, pop music, and whatnot. Tomorrow night is Mustache. Well, David St. Remy is tomorrow afternoon. But tomorrow night is Mustache, which, you know, the Molly Ringwalds?
Yeah.
What they are to the 80s, Mustache is to country in the 90s.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
All right, we got to get out of here. Moon Griffon's next.
Mustache. Okay.
Mustache.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Facebook. I got a jet. Oh shoot, I do have to jet. I got to go to mass. We'll see y'all.